One, dude. Eagles, and it's not good. The Eagles are going to be without a key player in the game on Monday night. It has already been announced that Jalen Carter has been ruled out. He has a procedure done, and he will be out at least this game. Live 97.3 ESPN will be all over that. And quite frankly, I'm not sure who's in line to kind of take his place, right? I don't know who is going to get an uptick in snaps, who's going to be the guy that gets those Jalen Carter snaps. But Jalen Carter has been ruled out for the game and possibly next week as well, maybe even longer. It is not a quote-unquote surgery, but he will be out, and it's a quote-unquote procedure. I don't know what that means, but apparently he's had this pain in both of his shoulders for, a good portion here. Last week you heard Vic Fangio. We played that yesterday, and Vic Fangio did kind of say, he's had some problems with his shoulder. We talked about it on Monday. It was, I thought, maybe his weakest game in a long time for Jalen Carter. I don't think he had a great game the other day, and maybe now we know why. He is considered week to week after undergoing a procedure on both shoulders on Monday. And today, Adam Schefter breaking the news that Jalen Carter will not play on Monday night. Here's a team that's already struggling and now is losing really the most disruptive force on their defense when he's good and going. Who takes those snaps? Who gets the uptick in play? I mean, I got to imagine more Maro Ojomo. Jordan Davis has been playing, obviously, a lot. Who else could you see? Possibly Brandon Graham kind of move down into the inside and get a little uptick. This is a interesting – I'll tell you why this kind of is a conundrum for Philadelphia. What's going on with the Chargers right now? Justin Herbert is going to be playing with like a Mickey Mouse-sized hand. He's going to be wearing something, kind of a glove that's going to make his hand, because he broke his hand and he has a procedure on his hand. Apparently he's going to try to play in the game. But could that mean there's a lot more running the football? No Jalen Carter. Let's go up the middle, try to soften up an area that hasn't been very good anyway. So this is pretty big news for Philadelphia, who now loses Jalen Carter for this game. And their defense, we talked about it Monday. We talked a little bit about it yesterday. You have a situation where they gave up 183 yards before contact on Friday, and now you're losing a premier player at the position that you need the most. This is not ideal. This is certainly not the way you wanted your Monday night game to go. And we'll talk more about what the Eagles can do about this. Adam Kaplan will join us for Football at 4 today. What else we got? Well, coming up at the bottom of the hour, you're going to want to stick around. We got a treat for you today at 2:30. The voice of Westwood One Monday Night Football, Kevin Harlan, is in the house today. He'll talk a little Eagles and Chargers with us at 2:30 today. Kevin Harlan joins us on the Sports Bash, plus our Football at 4. Early Nuggets today, 3 o'clock for the Nuggets. Jeff Nadeau is back after a week off for the holiday. He is back for his college football best bets for championship weekend. We'll have all the championship games between 97.3 ESPN and our sister station, Rock 104.1, starting Friday night with the American Conference Championship. And then on Saturday, it is a whole lineup of Big 12, ACC, SEC, Big 10. We've got all 5 games on both stations, 97.3 ESPN and Rock 104.1. But this Eagles thing with the defense, when you take a look at the defensive alignment here, a couple of years ago, if you remember, it was right around Thanksgiving in, I believe it was 2022, when the Eagles went out and brought in Sue and Joseph, right? It was right around Thanksgiving when they did that. Well, here we are, right around Thanksgiving again. Is there a player that they can go out and try to help this defense out, especially up front? Because now you got Bryce Young, you can give him some more snaps. Do you feel that the Eagles have enough in-house that can withstand all this? Let us know on the text board, 609-403-0973. Carter has had this shoulder injury throughout the season. Apparently both shoulders were hurt. He's already been rolled out for the game against the Chargers if you're just joining it. His goal is to be as close to 100% as possible for the playoff run. So you're wondering, is he going to miss 2 weeks, 3 weeks? I mean, you do have a game against the Raiders next week. You would hope that you wouldn't have to have him maybe available, so I would imagine at least 2 weeks would be the minimum here. And then there's those final 3 games at the end of the season. If Dallas loses a game, let's say Dallas loses tonight and you win on Sunday, it gives you a little bit of breathing room, but I don't know. When I tell you guys out there that Jalen Carter is not playing in this game, how does that kind of change your mental for the game on Monday night? Does anybody say, that changes my mind, that changes the way I'm thinking about this game? Because how many teams can lose a player of Jalen Carter's magnitude, and then all of a sudden you feel good about it? I can't imagine anybody's like, yep, I think I feel pretty good about this. Of course you don't. So, by the way, Linval Joseph signed on November 16th, and Sue was on the 17th. So they were right a little bit, a couple weeks before where we are right now. So you're even deeper into the calendar to make this happen. So, anybody initial thoughts? Pete G, initial thoughts. Jalen Carter, surgery, both shoulders, out versus the Chargers, week to week. Initial thought on that?
Yeah, not good. And it's obviously something that he's been dealing with all season long. Probably explains why he's really been, not as good as last season. But it's just going to put more pressure on really the guys inside and the pass rush. These guys did not have a good game against Chicago last week, so it's going to put more pressure on guys like Phillips, guys like Jalix Hunt, Nolan Smith. Those guys got to get home now.
Josh?
My question is, we haven't really seen Ty Robinson this year, so I don't know how to fully answer this question.
Fangio got asked about Ty Robinson, ironically, yesterday, which during the press conference, and I don't think it had any ties, obviously, to this.
No, because he was also asked about Carter before the Carter news.
Well, because because these draft picks have not made an impact at all. I think maybe close to all of them have not really made a direct impact on this football team.
Yeah, E.J. Smith asked the question, with Jalen Carter dealing with the shoulder, is it possible Ty Robinson might factor more into the rotation? Fangio, one-word answer, possible. So doesn't sound like it's a ringing endorsement, but he might not have any choice now. So continue, Josh. Thoughts when we say he's out Monday night?
Yeah, my thought is that I don't know if there is a guy to fill the void from the outside, so you're just hoping that you mentioned the draft pick, Ty Robinson. You also got Moro Ojomo, Jordan Davis. Can the guys we have now fill in? I'm not 100% sure because we've already seen 2 games without Jalen Carter this year. The one game, Jordan Davis went nuts, and the other game, the Giants basically kicked your rear. So I don't know if this team is built to handle the loss of a Jalen Carter.
Well, the last 2 weeks, the way we've seen their run defense kind of evaporate right before our very eyes, it's not ideal to not have your best defensive tackle out there, right? I mean, but that being said, he was a part of that defense that got shredded up. Not that you have another guy that, this is like a situation of the offense, right? This is, your offensive line's not playing very well, but you're still not replacing Jordan Mailata. Your offensive line's not playing well, but you're still not replacing Landon Dickerson.
Right.
Your defensive line isn't playing all that well, but you're still not ready to replace Jalen Carter because of it. That's where you're kind of like, the defense has struggled, and we have a downgrade in talent coming in this week. And the one thing I guess you can kind of hang your hat on is that the Chargers have injuries, to their line, but their injuries are generally on the outside. The 2 tackles that they have are both beat up. The interior of the line is okay. It's not great, but still, I don't know. This is like another ominous feel of like, here's another thing that you just add to the list of problems that this team has. And it's like, is this just one of those years where you just cannot recover? It's like right when you feel like, and I don't know that anybody feels that they're turning a corner here, but right when you feel like you're ready to turn the corner, you take another step backwards.
Does it make you feel any better about last week, about how the Eagles defensive line was shredded now that we know that Jalen Carter was basically playing hurt? less than 100%, less than 60%, whatever you want to say?
Well, I'll take something again that Vic Fangio said yesterday. He was asked specifically about Sidney Brown, and his answer was, what was your evaluation of Sidney Brown? He said, it was a lot like the rest of us, some good, some bad. And then he was asked, when you watch it back, what were the biggest issues with the run defense? He said, biggest issues were, 1, they run the ball well. I didn't do a good enough job preparing our squad for the quality and the diversity of their run game. We didn't play the run and the blocks the way we had been playing. That's something. And then the next question was, Jalen Carter didn't really look like himself. What's your read on what's going on there? He said, yeah, it was a lot like the rest of us. Some good, some not good. We're all guilty. I think we were all guilty of that. So 2 things I take away from that. 1, I talked about this Monday. I thought the team looked ill-prepared. They did not look like, in terms of technique, all that stuff, they looked like they were not well coached during the week for this game. Very poor alignment, technique. Fangio seemed to admit that yesterday. 1. 2, he was asked about Sidney Brown, some good, some bad, just like the rest of us. He was asked about Jalen Carter. He gave the same answer. I think he just thought, I did a bad job, and we did not play well. Now, to go back to your question, Pete, Jalen Carter being beat up, yes, I think that's a part of it, because Fangio did say later on in the thing that he's been dealing with this shoulder, and that was, somewhat omnipresent in why he did not play. Because it said with Carter, with what he's doing, can he get the amount of snaps that he used to? He said, we'll see. We'll see how that goes. And then, so I think he was kind of giving some hints that Jalen Carter's not where he needs to be. So, yeah, maybe it did have, but I think he said more, that was on me. I did not do very well against their run game, and I think Fangio will be uber focused on making sure that he fixes that this week. So that's one good thing. The problem is he's got to fix it without his best guy.
But maybe being without Carter is a good thing, because if he's that banged up that he's going to be that much of a liability, maybe being without him, maybe a guy who's a lesser talent, but he's healthy, is a better option right now.
Well, that's like when you go to the offensive line. Those guys have been banged up all season long.
Right.
And it finally costed Lane Johnson time, but we've seen what happened there. And this could be a question for a different day, but a kind of a big picture question is last year. What is the impact of last year's long season, physical season, all the snaps? Is it catching up to this team this year with all the injuries and we've seen with Carter, Johnson?
By the way, Carter played 70% of the snaps last week. He played 70. Jordan Davis played 68. Young played 44. So I guess he would be one of the guys that takes a bump up. I don't see did Ojomo not play last week? Oh, no, there he is. He played 70. He actually played the most. Ojomo played – that's why I didn't see him. He actually played the most. He played 71% of the snaps. Carter played 70. Davis played 68. And then Bryce Young played 44. So I would imagine you'll see Ojomo get more, maybe, and then Young. I don't know who else is on. Who is anybody on the practice squad that is,
Well, Ty Robinson's been inactive basically all season long.
Robinson would be one. Is there anybody else? Because Ty Robinson hasn't really been active at all this season, has he?
No, he's been active, I think, in maybe 1 or 2 games, and that's it.
To me, like when I saw this news, actually, Tyrell's the one who messaged me. Tyrell, by the way, I forgot this yesterday. It's my fault on the air. Happy birthday, Tyrell.
Oh, happy birthday, Tyrell.
He's Tyrell produces the video stream. So for the people who watch on YouTube and on X, he's the one that produces the video. It was his birthday yesterday. And I thought Nuggets was going to bring it up during the Nuggets segment, and he didn't.
Oh, just blame it on Nuggets. Yeah. That's always good.
See, I'm going to jump in here and semi-defend you, Mike, because you and I have worked together for 10 years, and you've never remembered my birthday. So
I'm not like the Facebook guy that remembers the birthdays.
Right, you're not the guy tracking every single person's birthday and being like, I got to send a message. I got to do something.
We have a text chain on the video side, everybody who does like the video work, and there was a text. So I wished him a happy birthday in the text chain. But once
that counts.
We got onto the air yesterday.
That does count.
Keep in mind, when we got on the air, Josh was off yesterday. So I was kind of pulling some double duty, and I was kind of like, doing extra stuff. Then when we got to the show, I kept thinking to myself, all right, I got to say happy birthday, happy birthday. Oh, Nuggets will remember. The young guys will remember. That's a Gen Z type of thing, right? They got to say happy birthday on Facebook, like if that kind of stuff.
I feel like that
it never happened.
That's more of a millennial thing, I think, actually, than a Gen Z guy.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm not the guy I'm not a big Facebook poster or much. I don't have a lot of activity on that platform, but I know when people see like somebody's birthday, it does like notify you. So,
by the way, the Eagles have 2 defensive tackles in the practice squad. Taquan Graham,
Aaron Donald, one of them.
Damn it.
But it's interesting. One of them is they did bring back Gabe Hall recently.
All right, Gabe Hall's got some
it's a
experience.
name.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's got a little bit of experience. Put it this way, it's a downgrade,
Oh, it's always a downgrade.
And
But you mentioned it, the Raiders game in 2 weeks, that's kind of like a bye week in itself. You could get by. I mean, the Raiders are pretty bad.
yeah, but this is a game here.
This is a game, though, you need them.
And we talked about this yesterday with Mike Missinelli, which was if Dallas plays tonight, they win this game. That puts even more pressure on you to win. Can you imagine Dallas wins tonight and you lose this game? They're 7-5-1 and you're 8-5 with 4 games left to go. I mean,
Yeah, and you're done playing Dallas, too.
you're done playing Dallas, but the fact that there's literally now no margin of error,
Right.
margin of error the rest of the way, and it would go right back to the 2023 thing where they caught you and then passed you. And the game tonight it's a massive game in the NFC because both these teams are, if Detroit can get its act together and get healthy,
At home, by the
they're
way.
as dangerous as anybody in the field. Now, I was a big Detroit. I actually was impressed by Detroit by the fact that they got knocked out last year and then came back this year, got smoked in the opener with the whole, like the coordinators both left, blah, blah, blah. And then they just got on a run. And I was like, give them credit for persevering after losing in the NFC playoffs and then losing the coordinators and getting smoked in the open and then all that. And here they are. At what point, I don't remember what their record was. I think they were like 6-2. But I think the injuries have just caught up to them. I think the coach has been reckless. And I'm kind of like losing my Detroit steam a little bit here. But I think if Detroit gets hot, Dallas right now is showing you what they can be. These are 2 teams that you do not want to get let into the playoffs because that means Detroit got themselves going. And if Dallas makes the playoffs, that means they're scorching hot going to the playoffs. So this is an interesting game tonight for Thursday Night Football, which you can listen to on 97.3 ESPN, the Thursday Night Football game. By the way, Sixers and Warriors, that game will be on Rock 104.1. For the Sixers tonight, by the way, Paul George is out. Embiid went from doubtful to questionable.
Steph Curry, he is out.
Curry is out. But the Sixers have a laundry list of guys. Many of them are game-time decisions. One is now Embiid. He is now a game-time decision. So he went from doubtful to questionable to game-time decision.
And, of course, the Sixers were fined $100,000 yesterday, right, for that?
That was for the Saturday thing.
Yep.
When they announced that Embiid was out and then he ended up playing.
To which I'm at the point, I don't know how you guys feel, but I'm just like, I don't even care who's playing anymore. Just let me show up and be surprised when the ball tips. Be like, oh, he's playing today. Or, oh, he's not playing today. Like,
As long as Maxey plays every game, I'm fine.
yeah, exactly.
Oh, listen, I've given up on whether Embiid's playing or not. Now, in the past, if Embiid didn't play, you were losing that game. It's a little different scenario now. I do think it sounds like he will play tonight, and my only observation on that is apparently at practice today he had a blue jersey on, which I think is what the starters wear generally.
Yeah.
Good
But
for him.
again, he's only going to be playing 20 minutes, right? 20, 22 minutes.
I don't know. He played 30 minutes on Saturday.
That's true.
Or Sunday, whatever game that was. It was a Sunday. He played
Sunday.
30 minutes in the
In
game.
that overtime game, yeah. That's
So
true.
somebody suggested that maybe they're trying to stagger Embiid and George, like Embiid plays tonight, then George will play tomorrow, so that you have at least one of those guys out there. Like, to me, I want those 2 guys to play together as much as possible. Like, if they're both healthy on the same day, I want Embiid and George and Maxey to get as many minutes together as they possibly can, and I'll live to fight another day. Poll question at Mike Gill Show. All right? Now, Josh, you were off yesterday. Alex Berardis was our producer yesterday, and we were talking a little bit about this. More off the air. We didn't have a lot of time on the air about it. Somebody posted I forget who it was. We're going to talk to Adam Aronson, Sixers Adam on Twitter. He covers the Sixers
He's
for
a
Philly
great
Voice.
follow. Great follow on Twitter.
He's a great Sixer follow. He covers the Sixers for Philly Voice. He goes on Twitter as Sixers Adam. I don't think it was him that posted it, but somebody posted, would you trade Edgecombe, Paul George, 2 first-round picks for Giannis?
Yes. Yeah.
PG.
First thought, yeah, I would.
Josh told me absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
Well-
this is the same argument we had a couple of years ago about Maxey and Lillard. I am not trading a future All-Star for a guy whose body's starting to break down.
Do you want the Knicks to trade for Giannis?
Good for them. Let them waste all
Okay.
their assets. Let them give up half
Well,
their
they don't
team
have,
for a
actually,
guy
they
who's
don't have
breaking
many assets
down.
left. But I would do it.
This was my answer, okay? I don't want to give up Edgecombe. My like a couple years ago, I will say I was wrong about the Lillard Maxey thing. But my theory was you were in a championship window 2 years ago with Embiid, who was the MVP of the league. Maxey wasn't ready to be the other guy at that time. Getting Dame Lillard would have given Embiid a guy who was on his level, like an MVP level, at the same time. Now, you might look at it and say, don't give up the young guys. You're building this young thing together. Embiid is unreliable. So I need someone to almost replace Embiid. And could that guy be Giannis? The problem with Giannis right now is he's hurt.
Again.
Yeah, 2 to 4 weeks.
And by the way, that's my point, which is Giannis, now it's the calf. It's been the shoulder. It's been the groin. It's been the guy is starting to break down. It's like, I don't need another half-healthy guy on the 76ers.
That being said, he's averaging 30 points, 11 rebounds, and like 6 assists a night.
Can we swap Embiid for him? I'd do that deal.
But
By the way, it was Edgecombe,
No.
Paul George,
Yes.
and 2 first-round picks.
it's also letting everyone know that this is Maxey's team, and you have to prioritize him and give Maxey a star.
Well,
To go
I
for
look
it,
at
right?
the Maxey-Giannis pairing.
Yes.
What the Bucks thought they were getting from Lillard and Giannis. I would trade Edgecombe for Giannis in this particular deal, and my reason is this. I have McCain, and I like McCain. Not that I don't like Edgecombe. I don't look at Edgecombe, and I said this a couple of years ago, I don't see Maxey as a 30-point-a-game scorer. Okay, I was wrong. I don't see Edgecombe as like a 20-plus point-a-game scorer. I think him and McCain, I don't want to say are duplicitous because they're different players, but they can fill each other's role in different ways.
And again, Giannis on the Knicks, that would be scary. Would it not?
It would be scary until Giannis gets injured again.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, that's neither here nor there. Giannis on the Knicks would be scary.
Giannis, any team is scary.
What are the Knicks giving up?
Probably Anthony Towns, right?
Ooh.
Well, you can vote at Mike Gill Show. Yes or no, would you make the trade for Giannis? And right now, I'm a little surprised with the results. Vote at Mike Gill Show. Text 609-403-0973. And like I said, I was way off on the Dame Lillard thing. I was off on that one. And Maxey now has turned into what I did not think he could be, a 30-point-a-game scorer. And that's what I said. Look, Dame Lillard scores 39. Is Maxey going to score 30? I didn't see that. Well, I was wrong, thankfully. But would you take a shot with Giannis and Maxey paired together?
Maxey deserves a star, right? I mean, he deserves a running mate, so to speak.
More Sports Bash coming up. Next, the voice of Monday Night Football, Kevin Harlan on Westwood One, joins me right here on the Sports Bash.
Go for holiday bliss. Whether naughty or nice, you are not going to want to miss this. Go for nights that shine with friends, a toast so fine. Go to find Santa's place. Go to see that smiling face. Go to give the gift of cheer with the card that brings dreams near. With endless fun and things to do, it is the gift that keeps on giving too. Go for the dazzling lights. It's quite a sight. Go to Ocean Casino Resort for holiday magic of every sort.
This holiday season, Capital One reminds you to give yourself the gift of 1.5% cash back with the Capital One Quicksilver Card.
Can I earn 1.5% cash back on birds?
Birds?
What if you sent your true love 2 turtle doves plus a partridge in a pear tree?
Sure, but why would anyone want that?
The song was very convincing.
Earn 1.5% cash back on all your holiday purchases with the Capital One Quicksilver Card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
It's the Sports Bash with Mike Gill.
Keeping the fans entertained and happy.
On 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
All right, Sports Bash Live, 97.3 ESPN. We're live at Chickies and Pete's. Go where the players go. Chickies and Pete's right here in Atlantic City at the Tropicana. Mike Gill and the Sports Bash Live. You guys out there hanging out on this Thursday edition, Thursday Night Football tonight on 97.3 ESPN. It is the Cowboys and the Lions. Big game. Got to have it. Both these teams got to have it. And we'll have it for you on 97.3 ESPN. We're going to be catching up with Kevin Harlan from Westwood One. He'll be on the national call for Monday Night Football. We'll catch up with him in just a moment here on the Sports Bash Live on 97.3 ESPN. Get a chance to kind of hear Kevin Harlan. You know, as they kind of get ready for this game, you wonder what the storylines are between these two teams that were, you know, had high expectations, and then both of them have just dealt with, you know, the injuries for the Chargers. Jalen Carter getting announced that he is out today. I don't know. I mean, what's the storyline of this game for you guys?
I think it's Herbert, right? I mean, Herbert with the broken hand, how really that's going to affect everything that they do.
Their pass game, Herbert is obviously the trigger man there. But this offense was so dynamic they're having the same problem the Eagles are having, right? Their offensive line is just decimated, and they can't run their offense. It's a clear indication of how important that offense. Not that that's like, wow, that's earth-shattering news there, but that's really what it comes down to. When you don't have a good offensive line, you struggle, and that's what's going on with this team right now. Is they do not have the horses up front, Philadelphia, and they are struggling in the offensive line, and they are definitely.
And
go ahead.
And I was going to say, L.A., 2 weeks ago, they got blown out at Jacksonville, 35-6. I look at that game and I say, what happened?
What happened in that game,
and
right?
Can you replicate that on Monday night? What did Jacksonville do to make them just blow them out like that?
Well, and look, the Eagles haven't had a game. Well, the Giant game was similar to where they just didn't have it that game and they got blown off the field. But it seems like everybody has that game where they just don't play all that well.
Yeah. Yeah. That game was at Jacksonville, too, so cross-country flight, blah, blah, blah.
I think when you look at the big matchup here is now that Jalen Carter is out, how much will that change I don't want to say the game plan so much, but, will they look to say, hey, you know what, let's run the ball more because – we know Herbert's banged up. He's got the injury to the hand. Is that something that they will look to kind of do because they now know that that's an area that they can, target. I also, we're going to play some audio a little bit later on. I'm interested to see what offense the Eagles come out with here. What kind of offense do they kind of throw into the mix here? Did we see anything different? Do they try to do anything different? Do they try to get their pass game going? Do they, did you watch Hard Knocks the other night?
I did.
The part that stood out to me was when the opening, and not a lot of people were talking about this, is when
how Sirianni's talking to BG.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And BG said our run game is about to take off. And Sirianni said, yep, you just got to keep with what you're doing. You just got to stick with what we do well. And that kind of tells me a little bit that maybe they are that stubborn that they think this run game is just going to just all of a sudden it's all going to get blocked up and schemed up and perfectly, and it's going to take off,
And it really gives you a glimpse of that Cowboys game when they were down 21-0. Dallas on the sidelines, you heard them. You heard Dak and Schottenheimer say, we're still in this thing. They weren't down. They know that 21-point spread against the Eagles isn't all that big of a deal.
No, well, that's another thing.
Right?
If you get down early in that game, hey, this team has shown a propensity to not put teams away,
right,
and we can get back in this game. I look at the Chargers, too, as if you don't win this game, this is kind of like if you win this Charger game, this is probably the jumping off point of going on the road, beating a good team, not a great team, but a good team, a solid team. And then that being the springboard for the rest of your kind of season here of getting your confidence back. You lose this game. It is just another dagger of what happened in 2023 where you just could now. They did get that one game. If you remember, they lost, 6 out of 7?
Yeah.
And they did beat the Giants on Christmas. So that would be like that Raider game, right? You could beat the Raiders and still not be fixed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The Raiders are so bad.
Raiders are so bad.
That you could still beat them. But if you lose this Charger game, that would be 4 straight losses. You might be able to sneak a win in against the Raiders. But what would that mean for those last 3 games down the stretch here?
And you really wonder how the offense is going to come out after all this Kevin Patullo stuff. Are they going to have their guys back, right? His house got egged. He's been all over the news. He had to come out in his press conference and say a line was crossed, yada, yada. But you would think that the offensive line and some of those guys are going to come to his aid, right? And put up a little bit of a fight for him? Is there something to that?
Some people talked about this, in the game when Hurts got hit, that nobody came over because, like, Jackson Dart took that shot the other night.
Yeah.
And the whole giant offensive line and team
started
really
a brawl,
came over, right, and did stuff. And then apparently, I didn't really notice that. I wasn't, I guess, intently paying attention to the play that people are talking about there. But did Hard Knocks clear up any thoughts that there's some, like a split in the locker room at all?
Yeah.
Or that people don't get along with Jalen, or that, this whole thing that he doesn't talk to people on the sidelines. He doesn't he doesn't talk to people during the game, all that stuff.
And again, Hard Knocks is edited in itself, so, Eagles, I'm pretty sure, have the rights to say what can and cannot be included in it.
Yeah.
So I still think there's something there.
But, I mean, as soon as that play happened with Devontae Smith,
yeah,
he came right over.
That was good to see.
To talk to him, and he was kind of like, smiling, like, hey, what happened here? And, oh, man, I thought you were doing this. No, we talked about that. And he's like, it's my bad. Like, I got you. I got to make that play. Then he went down the line to everybody. That's on me. I got to make that play. That
does show me, though, that there is some sort of lack of communication or lack of over-communication, if that's a thing, right? I mean,
that's something that Kurt Warner was talking about. By the way, Kurt Warner, who is the broadcast partner of
Kevin Harlan.
We're trying to get Kevin Harlan on. Apparently, we have some phone issues going on because our phones are so freaking cheap back there. I mean, spend some money on some phone lines, would you? I mean, we got these cheap lines that we can't freaking call in or out on. It's ridiculous. I mean, just get it fixed back there, could you?
It is 2025.
For God's sakes, it's 2025. And
2026,
I don't even know whose
really.
fault it is. It's like these cheap phone lines. They're like all internet-based, and they're so – if somebody farts too loud, the thing gets knocked off course. It's just ridiculous. Get it together, everybody. I'm like dealing with this like horrible Wi-Fi stuff at my house. It's just like – first world problems. You got bad Wi-Fi. Yeah, you know what? It's 2025. We've had Wi-Fi for 40 freaking years now. Get it fixed. There should never be a problem with this stuff. Never. It's just a joke that we're at this time and you can't figure it out. If you can't get the internet fixed, get off the internet and get real phone lines. I mean, come on, for God's sakes. It's just ridiculous. We're trying to get in touch with Kevin Harlan, who supposed to be on at 2:30, but unfortunately he can't call in and we can't call out because the phone lines are just pathetically cheap. If you work in that business, shame on you right now. That's my feeling on that. Because I'm dealing with it at my house with the horrible. You know what we did the other day? We went to the store, said, hey, our Wi-Fi is not very good right now. The guy gives us a box, a new one. He says, oh, this one's new.
All right.
Okay? This is a new box. It'll be better. Guess what, buddy? I got news for you. The one you gave us sucks worse than the one we had before. Thanks for playing. And I went to the bill. You charged me $45 more for the crappy one that replaced the one that was actually average.
You better get that taken off.
Do you think?
Yeah.
I said and then I'm online chatting with some idiot bot. Oh, sir, it looks like here that you got a new one. Yeah, I know I got a new one, you stupid ass. It sucks. It's worse than the one that you gave me before. How about, I got an idea for everybody out there. Hire people. Let's hire people. Can we get human beings and get them working again so we can get this stuff resolved? Holy mackerel. It's just sad, the state that we are in, that we have people lose their jobs because of this, and you can't figure it out. It's ridiculous. Phone line doesn't work in the year 2025. A stupid phone call we can't make. All right, I'm angry enough right now. Well, I had to. There's a whole domino effect of like the guy at the store telling me this, upselling me on a stupid box. That doesn't work. Now this phone line doesn't work. I'm just agitated by the whole system. Let's hire people. Let's get them working so this stuff doesn't happen. Can we do that? Can we do that in 2026? Can we get just somebody to answer the questions of why the phone doesn't work? Jesus.
You want that solved in 2026. That's your new
Think about that. Alexander Graham Bell. Do you think in 2025 he thought that he couldn't make a phone call in whenever Alexander Graham Bell created this, do you think in 2025 he would think that you can't make a simple phone call?
No. By the way, that was 1876.
1876.
The telephone was invented.
Yeah. The telephone was invented, and I got news for you. My aunt worked for New Jersey Bell, and she would be the person that would patch that thing right into the wall. You did not have a problem with that phone call.
Nope.
Now, who the hell knows?
It all went south when we went cell
All I
phones.
know is, when I drive, there's a certain spot on the parkway, everybody knows where it is, that all of a sudden the phone call just drops. You're telling me we've made it this far, and everybody knows that spot, that someone hasn't had the foresight to say, hey, I got an idea. I might need to put more service between exit 28 on the parkway and, I mean, geez. It amazes me that we get so far in life with the stupidity that we have from people who run things. Yep. Somebody watching on the YouTube says, I thought you were on the verge of dropping the F-bomb. You know what?
Yeah.
Well, listen, Evil Empire 4466. You can message me.
That sounds like a bot right there.
You can message me, and I can't make a phone call. Anything back there, Josh? You got anything for me? He looks like he's on the phone. He looks like he's on the phone.
Maybe he's calling the telephone company.
All right. Well, I don't know whose fault it is. I'm not blaming anybody, but get it fixed, for God's sakes. You know, we used to have real phones that, like, worked, and then they went to these cheap Wi-Fi phones that, again, somebody breaks wind too loud. The freaking phone is offline. That's all I got on this matter. But coming up, we'll try to get back into something here.
Did you watch the Flyers game last night?
You know what? I totally forgot. You know what I watched last night? Because now I have HBO Max.
Okay.
I
What?
never saw season 12 of Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Oh, you're going back in time.
I know. I've watched like the first. I think I'm on episode like 6 right now.
Wow.
Yeah, so I was watching that last night. You know, there's like not a lot of nights that I get to like sit and just watch something, you know, where like you used to get into some shows, and I can't do that. You know why?
Because your
The Wi-Fi at my
sucks.
house sucks. I get this spinning wheel, and I actually have the Wi-Fi box. So for that guy who sold me or gave me, I wasn't there, my girlfriend was there, but gave her the box and told her it was going to be the same thing. We actually have the Verizon box plugged into the television with an Ethernet cable, and it's still slower. I don't know how that's possible. You plug it into the television with an Ethernet cable, and it's slower. Technology's really having a bad day today. All right, vote at Mike Gill Show. Would you trade for Giannis? Let me know. 609-403-0973 on the text board. More Sports Bash coming up.
It's the Sports Bash with Mike Gill.
Do I have everybody's attention now?
On 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
250 Sports Bash, 97.3 ESPN. By the way, I just thought of something else. So I went to Thailand during the NFC Championship game and the
Super Bowl?
No, I was home for the Super Bowl.
So it was divisional and championship?
I was with you at the Super Bowl.
True.
No, the NFC Championship game against Washington and the week before against the Rams. I was in Thailand. And somehow had the technology to get the game on my television. And yet, when I was home last 2 weeks ago when that whole YouTube TV thing was going on, that same device did not work because the Wi-Fi was not
booming,
good
as
enough.
they say.
Yeah. We did talk to Kevin Harlan, and he is going into an NBA production meeting, so we missed him. So we'll try to catch up with him next week, I guess. Is that what he said, Josh?
Yeah, first of all, he said he was sorry he only had the window that he had.
Mm-hmm. That's normal. These guys, he's doing NBA games on Friday. They got production meetings, so we give him a handful. What happens is I reach out. I say, hey, is Kevin Harlan available? Here, give me a bunch of times. I send him times. He has a window. Here's the window that he can pick. That one works. Boom. It worked for us.
But then he said he would like to reschedule. He enjoys coming on with Mike Gill and the guys at 97.3 ESPN.
Yeah, I mean, that's great. I'd like to have him on next week and everything, but I kind of wanted to talk to him about, the Eagles-Chargers game that's coming up on Monday that he's calling. Did somebody break wind back there? Is that what happened to the phones?
I wish it was that simple.
I mean, is anybody else perplexed, or is it just like, we got crappy phones?
The engineer is perplexed.
Yeah.
Which is not helpful either.
Well, I got an idea. How about we get real phones?
I like that idea.
How's that suggestion?
That would make my life easier.
And it's, 2025. You can be like, hey, you know what? Let's get a phone that works.
What's old is new again.
Right? You save the cell phones for the crappy Parkway ride when they drop out. How about in the office you get a real phone, right?
I mean, there might be a way.
What do you have to spend an extra $3 a month for a real phone as opposed to the crap phone?
I don't know. I mean, that's a good question.
Can you imagine? Your bill will be $27 as opposed to $24. Well, we'll take the $24 plan. It's cheaper. I could just imagine that conversation going on, right?
Yeah.
Give me the cheapest one you can find.
$3? What?
The one that gets knocked off with somebody walking down the hallway.
By the way, I love the text. Someone texted in, thank you, Mike, for saying what we were all thinking about phone lines today.
I do want to add, I do have Verizon Wi-Fi. I did not have any issues with the older box. We added some things to our house that we needed, so we asked if we can get an extender. And the guy was like, you don't need an extender. I'll get you one that's a better, blah, 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 and it's not.
Someone texted in, I had to lower the volume at work because Gil was freaking out.
Yeah. Well, I'm not happy right now.
Billy in Ocean City says, Mike, I fish in the middle of the mountains in New York and get better service than this 97.3 studio.
I saw that. That's what made me think. I said, I'm in Thailand. I can watch the Eagles game there. But when I needed to watch the Eagles game because of the YouTube TV thing, I didn't have enough Wi-Fi for that to come through. I was like, are you kidding me? I watched the game in Thailand.
And that is true about the Parkway blind spot, right? I mean, that you would think that'd be fixed by now.
Yep. So it's really hard to get me mad, but, Josh, how many times you see me mad in like 10 years?
4 times?
Yeah. This is one of them.
And today was one of them.
Yep. Today was one of them. It's just sad. It's just a sad state that we can't get the freaking phone to work.
Kevin Kugler here from Thursday Night Football on Westwood One. Week 14 kicks off with a matchup of playoff bubble teams when Jared Goff and the Lions battled Dak Prescott and the Cowboys. Detroit stands at 7-5 on the season, but is coming off a loss last week. Now they face a 6-5-1 Dallas team looking for a 4th straight win. Ross Tucker joins me for the call on Thursday Night Football.
Listen to Thursday Night Football. Coverage begins at 7:30 on 97.3 ESPN.
This holiday season, make dreams come true with Whitehorse RV Center. Don't wait for spring. Adventure starts now. At Whitehorse RV Center, your perfect RV is ready for unforgettable journeys, from cozy winter getaways to cross-country adventures. With our year-end savings, trusted brands, and family service since 1973, there's never been a better time to buy. Live the dream today at Whitehorse RV Center, where memories begin and adventures never end. Because at Whitehorse RV Center, your RV adventure starts here.
With Cyber Week savings at the Home Depot, get up to 35% off, plus up to an extra $500 off select innovative appliances like GE Profile. Add a touch of ease to your holiday with the all-in-one combo to wash and dry your laundry in one machine. And refrigerators with built-in convenient features like the dual dispense autofill water pitcher. Shop Cyber Week savings on select appliances in-store and online now at the Home Depot. Offer valid 12/4 through 12/10, U.S. only. See store online for details.
The countdown is on because diamonds are lighting up the holidays at Robert's Fine Jewelers. December 11th through the 14th only. 4 days to save big on diamond studs, diamond necklaces, diamond tennis bracelets, diamond rings, gemstone jewelry, and so much more. If it sparkles, it's on sale. This is the holiday event you've been waiting for to finish checking off those wish lists. Make this the biggest holiday ever at Robert's Fine Jewelers at the Plaza at Center Point in Northfield. December 11th through the 14th. Robert's Fine Jewelers, where your holiday sparkles. Online at robertsfinejewelers.com.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-923-6829 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-923-6829. That's 800-923-6829. What do you have to lose? Call 800-923-6829. Again, 800-923-6829.
Are you ready to sell your home? Call Dave Beach. He makes sure his clients receive the very best in service. Dave Beach at RE/MAX Community is your trusted local expert. Fast closings, top offers, and service just like your family. 609-685-4942. Online at soldbydavebeach.com.
Home of the Sports Bash with Mike Gill, 97.3 ESPN.
Ooh, that's good.
WENJ HD, Millville, Atlantic City. And the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app. Now live from inside the Ocean Casino, Mike Gill.
Hour 2, Sports Bash Live, 97.3 ESPN. We're live at Chickies and Pete's, Atlantic City. Go where the players go. A.J. Brown's Sweet Heat Hot Wings, the Garage 62, beer and a burger. You can get that all right here at the AC version. We're at Trop in Atlantic City. Got Sixers tonight taking on the Warriors. That game's on Rock 104.1. We've got Thursday Night Football. Good one tonight. Lions and Cowboys. What else we got going on tonight? Flyers won last night 5-2, by the way. Nice win there for the Fly Boys after losing Forrester for about 2 months. Bad injury there. Jalen Carter out for the Eagles. Bad news there. So let's get into the Nuggets. Nick Earnshaw. By the way, Earnshaw was excited for the Kevin Harlan conversation. He texted me and was like, wow, you got Harlan. Except for somebody broke wind back there and it knocked the phone lines off the air, so we weren't able to get him.
Definitely.
Yeah, you're muted. There we go. Now we got that problem. God doesn't
All right.
mute it. I mean,
Yeah, sometimes things happen. You gotta love technology. You gotta love it. Gotta love technology sometimes. Hopefully you get him at some point. But listen, there's a lot to get to today, Mike, and a lot of tough injuries for the Philadelphia Eagles. The Jalen Carter news is huge, to say the least.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's not ideal to have your best, not only best defensive tackle, pretty much your best defensive player. Your whole defense is wrapped around what he brings to the table, getting double team, allowing other guys to, kind of live a little freely. You played Byron Young last week. And look, there's a couple things I want to get into about this. One, and I was talking about this right before you came on. The Eagles made a trade back in training camp of Thomas Booker for Jacorian Bennett. That has not worked out at all. Jacorian Bennett has been an absolute zero, and Thomas Booker has been a starting player for the Raiders. Now, the Raiders stink, but Booker has been a really good player for that team. So that's been an L of a trade for Howie Roseman. They also drafted Ty Robinson, and he is giving you nothing. He can't beat Byron Young to get onto the field. So that is two players right now that have not, that have backfired on you. The trade of Bennett, because Thomas Booker, when Q Myers, who covers the Raiders, that's his, daily team that he covers out there, he texted me the night of that trade. He said, Booker, and I said, they don't use him enough. You're going to love this guy. He is always around the ball. He gets like 2 snaps a game, and both of them he gets to play in the backfield. I don't know why the Eagles never gave him a chance, and I get it. They have Davis. They've got Carter. They just didn't have a lot of snaps for him. I thought Thomas Booker was always making plays, and now he goes out to the Raiders, and he has been a good player. Jacorian Bennett. Now, on the flip side, Q Myers told me Bennett was a good player. The problem with him was he was always hurt, and that the Raiders gave up on him because of the injuries and that he didn't fit into Pete Carroll's system. But he thought Jacorian Bennett was their best corner, and that maybe coming here would work out. Well, he's been hurt, so we haven't really seen if it works out or not. So the whole defensive tackle situation, I do put a little bit of this on Howie Roseman. The Ty Robinson has not worked out, and you traded Thomas Booker, who would have been a nice depth piece.
Yeah, you tried to fix another problem by getting rid of a depth piece on the defensive line, which clearly at this point now you need, right? And Jeff McClain is putting out some information about Jalen Carter's injury. He said, quote, in a tweet and a report, Jalen Carter's shoulder issues just aren't a recent thing. Original injury stretches back to last season when he played 1,068 snaps. He sat out the end of spring, and by camp, his agent was at the practice in part to check on the shoulder. So this is nothing new with Jalen Carter, and it's just gotten worse, and it feels like they've been trying to push through with Carter in the middle. Now you lose the anchor of your defense. However, you now lost the anchor of your defense, and you lost the anchor of your offense. Both are gone. That's not ideal when you don't have Jalen Carter on one side and Lane Johnson on the other, and now you got a Chargers team with Justin Herbert with a broken hand, the non-throwing hand, though, coming into here Monday night. With all the offensive problems you've had, to now lose the anchor of the defense, things are going to open up right here for the Eagles, and that's not a good sign when you lose both anchors. Now, you didn't just lose one. Now you lost both.
Well, and as Les Bowen tweeted out, I thought that was an interesting observation by him. He basically said, I don't know of any shoulder surgery that is not like basically, he said, would be nice to know exactly what sort of procedure Jalen Carter had on both shoulders.
Whoa.
He says, I'm not aware of any shoulder surgery that only needs a few weeks of recovery to play defensive tackle in the National Football League. So that's another good point is, what did he have done to these shoulders that, like, magically he'll be ready to play in, like, 3 weeks from now? Because I don't think he'll play next week either. You're playing the Raiders, so you probably say, listen, we'll try to sit you out Monday. We'll try to sit you out next week, and then hopefully we have you, maybe for the last 3. But as his point is, what kind of shoulder procedure can you get that both your shoulders are ready to play an NFL game in 3 weeks?
Yeah, and you need your shoulders as a defensive lineman. On the interior, that's pretty much everything right there. Right?
Yeah.
So, the fact that it was done on both shoulders, it's been a nagging issue now for over a year. They've known about this, and now all of a sudden, he's had surgery on both shoulders. At this point in the season, with everything that's going wrong in the last couple of weeks.
Well, they're not calling it a surgery. They're calling it a procedure.
Oh, yeah, procedure.
Whatever that is. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that means.
My question is, if it was bothering him up to last year, why didn't he get it fixed in the offseason?
I don't know. That's the problem here. Why wouldn't you have gotten it fixed? You got to take care of that stuff when it first happens. Don't play through it, especially when you're in an offseason to do this.
Well,
Absolutely.
He did miss and he did miss a game against the Giants because of this problem, and you wonder how
they
long has he been dealing with this.
And how they looked that day. Not good. Not good at all. You're losing your anchors on both sides. Oh, man, the Eagles are in trouble. It's not all just the offense. Now you're losing guys to injuries and key pieces, guys that help you win games and that your defense is built around and your offense is leaned on in Lane Johnson. That's a lot of trouble for the Philadelphia.
Is it last year starting to catch up with this team, with these guys just banged up, a lot of snaps, played until February? Saquon's not the same guy. I'm catching up to them.
I'm sure that's not out
physically.
And there's a lot of these guys who were around in 2022 as well. And you think about they went all the way to the Super Bowl in 2022. I know that 1 year after they got knocked out early, then they went back to the Super Bowl. So, this group of guys, that's why it's so hard to go back to, like, what the Chiefs have done. They've done a three-peat, but they kind of, changed some of the pieces on offense and some of the stuff, but they're starting to break down now as well.
Yep.
I think the Eagles are a bunch of guys. Their offensive line has been together, really back to that 2022 team. Many of these same guys were on that team. Look, that's what happens. You're good, and to bounce back the next year and try to do it again, that's why repeating is so tough.
Yeah, it's why it's so difficult keeping guys healthy. You're going to lose guys, and that's just the way it's gone for the Eagles this year, especially over the last few weeks. Now guys are starting to get hurt. You're noticing it on both sides of the ball, and now you lose both your anchors. They're in a lot of trouble, but we'll see. We'll see on Monday, to say the least. And we'll see if Justin Herbert plays still. We'll see if he plays with a broken hand at this point. Jalen Carter's been playing with broken shoulders, it feels like now. So it is what it is. All right, moving along. Let's go to Nugget.
Well, by the way, real quick on that, the anticipation is that he will play.
I know. It feels like he will play. So that's something to keep an eye on.
It's his non-throwing hand.
Yep. So we'll see. All right. Up next, Nick Foles. So he thinks, I know we were playing a lot of audio already through this, but Nick Foles, he thinks they could fix their season. Mike, I know, we played some audio about Kevin Patullo, and he thought, and Patullo responded about it, about going up into the booth. Remember, we talked about changing things. This goes back to nugget number one, though. Now you're losing your anchors, or the Eagles are in trouble. And based upon what happened in Hard Knocks, can they fix it? Mike, I don't know about this.
Man, the offensive situation, everybody seems to have some sort of opinion. Foles said maybe he should go up to the booth. Patullo was asked about it. He kind of laughed that off like, that's ridiculous. He's like, I haven't been up to the booth since 2011, I think he said was the last time he coached from the booth.
He put the kibosh on that.
Yeah, he was not even entertaining that thought, which I didn't either on Monday, by the way. I thought it was ridiculous. Not that Foles is completely listen, he played, I didn't. But you think that was going to change? the problems this have, I didn't see it. That being said, he mentioned Frank Reich as the fix for this offense, I think is the basis of that podcast, right?
Yep. Yeah,
he sounds
Frank
like
Reich.
a fan to me. I mean, all this stuff just sounds like a
just throwing it out
radio
there
caller
at this point. He's just throwing it out there. Bring in Frank Reich as a consultant, and then Sirianni can fix it. I don't know.
That's the kind of stuff you read on message boards,
Right.
man.
The fan stuff out there is right, because it's like, the fans want like Chase Utley to be the manager because that's who like they remember in the good times. So like Nick Foles is suggesting Frank Reich to be the offensive coordinator to fix things because that's the guy he had his most success with. I mean, it's admirable, and I'm not even saying that it's off base. I mean, would Frank Reich be a better coordinator? I think it would have been a better decision than Kevin Petullo because he had, as I said, Frank Reich is the kind of guy that profiles. I'm not saying he's the guy. I'm saying that profiles as the guy the Eagles need. A veteran play caller who's not looking to leave to get a head coaching job.
They need to find a Vic Fangio for the offensive side of the ball. Guy who's towards the end of his career, isn't really looking 100%. To go be a head coach. That's what they need at this point. They don't need a Petullo who hasn't called plays, a lot of inexperience. They don't need a guy who's looking to become a head coach again. Like, they need someone who could be the offensive coordinator for at least a sustainable period of time, a couple of years, so the offense can grow, guys can get familiar over a few seasons. That just has not happened with the Philadelphia Eagles during the Sirianni era, during the Jalen Hurts era. And what does that say? I mean, it's a pretty good thing that, hey, coordinators are becoming head coaches, coaching this football team. It's cool, but then, it doesn't help you in the long run, and it hasn't helped the Eagles at all. So just throwing stuff out there at times, I mean, you could throw any name out there, but they need a guy like Fangio on the offensive side to have some stability there and grow the offense and the scheme itself.
I guess the problem with that is a lot of those guys aren't innovative, right? They're just older, stuck in their ways, kind of not really fresh, innovative, like what you see around the NFL now.
Well, it's like, can you just take another coordinator from the Chargers who they're playing this week, right? Like, how many coordinators have they stole from the Chargers at this point?
Can you take a Sean McVay coaching tree coordinator? I mean, would that be a good route to go?
I think they have head coaching jobs all over the league right now.
Yeah, they do.
but like the quarterback coach of Minnesota or under Kevin O'Connell, obviously, or someone like that.
Well, I mean, that's the thing is you're not going to be able to get a coordinator to come here to be the coordinator because you can't go lateral. I mean, isn't that a rule? I don't think Josh is back there, but I think that's a rule where you can't make a lateral move. You can't steal someone else's coach for a lateral decision.
Yeah, and listen, they're just at the point now where they need an experienced guy. They need a guy who's going to stay here, not just be one and done and leave, which has happened now multiple times with the Eagles. And it doesn't help your quarterback either when he's not able to have any camaraderie, a guy that, you could build upon with. You were supposed to have that with Brian Johnson. It was supposed to happen with Brian Johnson because that was his guy. And it didn't happen. That's why they had to bring in Kellen Moore. It didn't work out that year. And now we're kind of seeing the same thing happen all over again.
One quick fix to that, you know what that is, right? The OC head coach combo.
You want the head coach to call plays, is what you're saying.
Well, yeah.
You want Sirianni to call plays.
No. Yeah, well, the combo of the head coach and OC, I think, is a better option than the CEO head coach. And,
well, they've won they've been in 2 Super Bowls with this.
No, I know that.
Work, but they don't have any sustainability at the offensive coordinator spot.
If Nick Sirianni became the play caller, would that make anybody feel better just because your head coach is calling plays? Because then the next thing you're doing is, oh my God, why didn't he call timeout? Or why is the clock management so bad? Or why? I like this. Yes, I like the CEO coach. I prefer, Mike Tomlin doesn't call the defense for Pittsburgh. He is a defensive-minded guy. He was a great defensive coordinator. That's why he got the job. He does not call the defense for the Steelers. John Harbaugh does not call anything for the Ravens.
Both of those guys are 6-6, by the way, and probably on their way out.
They are both having struggles this season, but they have both won Super Bowls, and both are highly regarded as good head coaches. Now, guys who do call, like Dan Campbell's calling the plays right now. Well, yesterday, who do we have on the show yesterday that said, it's a mistake for him to be calling plays? He's not a good play caller, but he just happens to be the head coach. I say this all the time. We get so wrapped up into a team hires somebody because they were a good coordinator, a good play caller. That doesn't mean you're able to run a team.
Yes.
The head coach is there to run the team, not to run the offense or run the defense. They are there to run the team.
Would your $50 million quarterback benefit from the combo?
No.
Like Caleb Williams with the Bears, he's benefiting right now with the change of coordinator, Ben Johnson. And
it
coach,
might benefit. Now, by the way, the weakest link of their team is the quarterback. I mean, that's the guy who's struggling the most on that team. I'm not saying like Sean McVay obviously can handle it. He can call the plays, and what he did was he got Wade Phillips to be his coordinator, who was a veteran defensive coordinator, and he said, "You are the head coach of the defense. I'll run the offense." If you can get that kind of setup, that changes some things and allows you to take some of your focus off of something. And the Eagles kind of have that with Fangio right now, where Sirianni probably doesn't have to focus as much on what's going on defense. I think what Sirianni really needs to do is find, and by the way, him and Frank worked together. He was the coordinator for Frank.
Yeah.
So could that be a matchup down the road where they pair back up, and then that's, what's that?
Frank
Reich called the plays, though.
Yeah, no, Frank Reich called the plays, but that's my point is where Frank can just concentrate on calling the plays, whereas Frank was calling plays, and now he can't focus on the game. And now maybe that it's reversed. Sirianni says, you call the plays. You don't have to worry about clock management, timeouts, all that stuff. I'll do that. You call the plays. Maybe that's the kind of marriage. And I do think that's the kind of marriage that Nick ultimately has to get back into, where he has a strong coordinator that can call the plays and let him manage the game.
I'm in agreement with you.
If Nick needs that, then what does Jalen Hurts need?
I think Jalen Hurts needs stability at that position as well. I mean, listen,
he has never had
who
it.
said it? Peyton Manning said it the other night during the Manning cast, which was, how hard, like he said, to not have stability at that position. Look at Drake May. He's now got Josh McDaniels. Josh McDaniel was a terrible head coach. You want him calling your plays? I mean, yes. But you want him to be your head coach. It's a clear example of the head coach can't call the plays but he's okay doing it when he doesn't have to worry about the rest of the game. Not everybody is equipped to do both. There are very, very few guys that can call the plays and manage the game at the same time.
So then it's really who you hire.
Well, that's 100%.
That's the whole point. They didn't hire the right guy.
But
they did hire the right guy.
But guys, really quick, if you're worried about Jalen Hurts, if I could play this one cut from Nick Foles when he talked about Frank Reich, because I thought that one of the points that he makes about the whole Frank Reich, Nick Sirianni, Kevin Patullo thing I thought was interesting, and I want to see if you guys pick up on the one nugget. This is for you, Nuggets. A nugget from Nicky Foles.
Frank would be a great asset. Say Kevin's in the box, Frank's sitting next to him. He can help him throughout the different situations. When defense goes and playing, when you're trying to figure out what first base downs, third downs you're calling next, Frank is a great asset. This is Frank's offense that Nick is running.
It's a great point.
So Frank can give you that insight. This is the number one call. If you're Jeffrey Lurie, Howie Roseman, you are getting Frank right there to be a consultant to help, not call plays, but to help Kevin out. So Kevin's not alone out there, man. This is his first year calling plays. Like, that is a very difficult position to be in.
Yeah. You hear that little nugget in there from Foles?
Yeah, that was a Nick nugget right there. That
Patullo's alone out there?
No, the nugget that I think you're talking about is that this offense is Frank's offense. Everyone says it's Nick's offense. This is Frank's offense that they're running.
So if it's Frank's offense, it's like the Fangio thing. Why would I bring in a guy who runs Fangio's style of defense when I can bring in the man who it is, his offense, in Frank Reich
himself?
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, Josh. Frank Reich he was the interim coach for 1 year at Stanford.
So he was the holdover coach at Stanford, but he's done. His year is done.
Right, I'm saying. So he knew he was only going to be there for 1 year.
Right.
And that is now over. He is no longer with that program.
Correct.
They already hired a coach.
They already hired a guy.
Washington. a couple of years ago and call Frank Reich and say, hey, do you want to come and just consult Kevin? Kevin will still call the plays, but Frank can be here during the week and game plan with us. I don't know why they wouldn't make that call.
Exactly.
Yeah, it would make total
At
sense.
this stage,
They bring in that guy. At this point, you might as well bring him in. You might as well.
At this stage of the game, you have nothing to lose.
Nope.
You have one
Everything
guy,
to gain.
You have everything to gain. You have nothing to lose to say, hey, Kevin, we're gonna your first time. It's not your fault. Like there are other injuries and all that stuff, but we're gonna bring in a guy who knows this offense inside and out, and you guys can hang out and have some beers and talk about this and figure it out.
Find a way.
No problem with that.
Find a way at this point. That's what you have to do.
And the problem with that could possibly be that Kevin could feel threatened that at the end of the year but too bad, buddy. You haven't done a good enough job that we have to do this.
Yeah, it hasn't worked out, so you bring in the guy whose offense it actually is at this point. The Eagles are trying to do that, and wasn't Vic Fangio, he consulting the offense as well at that time too?
Anyway.
Which is weird. They said that. So
that's what they were saying was that he was there to consult actually the offense, not the defense.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Yeah,
But,
I believe that for 100%. Not.
Yeah. All right. 2 pack of nuggets for you. We got 2 in. 2 out of the 3. Had a Phil's nugget for Pete, but just not enough time.
Oh,
you had a third?
Yeah, we got a couple minutes.
We got a couple minutes. What time do you think it is?
I'm going to make an executive decision.
I'm all thrown off today. It's 3:00. I'm all thrown off today. I can get to it if we have time.
Someone buy Nuggets a watch for Christmas, okay?
Yeah,
Early
absolutely.
Nuggets today. Early Nuggets, and his appetite is a little less. Yeah.
Schwarber to the Reds. That's your nugget, right?
No, it's not. It's Ranger Suarez. All right. Oh, wait, come on, Pete. We got to talk about Ranger. Do we want to bring him back? And Jim Bowden, it was reported the other day, he said, quote, the Phillies are trying to re-sign Suarez, who is 30 years of age, but also believe they have enough starting pitching in-house if they can't get a deal done with him. What have we been saying for almost a year, Mike? The same exact thing with Ranger Suarez. Do you think they bring him back? I don't know. At this point, it seems like with the whole deal of bringing in the new agent and everything, Scott Boras, I don't think he'll be a Philly next year.
Who? Ranger?
Ranger.
I don't think he's back here. I think, and I've been saying the 2 teams that I've been saying all along, Baltimore would be one that I think would be high on the list as a team that needs pitching, needs a top-of-the-rotation guy, but doesn't want to spend top-of-the-rotation dollars. You can say, hey, we got Ranger Suarez for number 2 or number 3 money, but he's our number 1. So Baltimore, any of those Central Division type of teams that don't want to spend number 1 money but need pitching. You throw your Clevelands in there. I think Boston's a team that also could be in the mix for Ranger Suarez. And I wouldn't be surprised if you look inside the division and see one of those teams sniffing around because, they wouldn't mind stealing a Phillies player, the Mets, maybe Atlanta. But I think Baltimore, I've been saying Baltimore pretty much from the beginning only because Baltimore's got a really good young offense. Their problem has been pitching. Now, last year their offense was disappointing as well, but they had some injury issues there. But they still have a lot of young offensive pieces. They just don't have the pitching. And I think they think maybe we can get Suarez on a deal that's comfortable for us and he can be our number 1, even though I don't look at him as like a top number 1A.
Right. Like, what is Suarez predicted to get? Like $100 million? Like,
he's tough to gauge at this point. He's tough to gauge at this point, especially because it's Scott Boras, right? So he's going to get overpaid. With Scott Boras as your agent, he's going to get overpaid, especially with the playoff experience, what he's done with the Philadelphia Phillies. He's going to get a hefty contract. Baltimore makes a lot of sense in my estimation. Mike, I think you hit the nail on the head. They just have not had any pitching. They have a good young core, disappointing last year. But if they can get some stability, we talked about a lot of stability today, they get stability in the rotation, figure out the bullpen as well, then I think they're in a good spot. That's a team that I could totally see being Ranger.
I'm going to tell you one thing. It's going to be hard to see that guy walk away from the Phillies with what he did in the postseason all those years. And
by the way, I'm seeing projections of 5 years, 115.
Yeah, it's a little too much for my blood.
The problem with Ranger is he's been hurt, so that's been a problem for him. He's been banged up, but he's been very, very, very productive and clutch and big in playoff situations. But all right, man, I'm looking forward to the winter meetings next week. I want to see something happen in here with Schwarber and what happens. This team needs to, I was talking about this today, and I know we got to get out of here, but opening day is March 26th. I mean, we're into bowl season, New Year's. Next thing you know, the playoffs are here. Then it's the Super Bowl. The next thing you know, March Madness is here, spring training. Opening day is going to be blinking, and we're going to be here. And I don't know anybody. Who signed anybody? Dylan Cease, that's it.
Been nothing. It's every year with baseball. We need a week, just a week of free agency.
Sports Bash Live, 97.3 ESPN, brought to you by Broadleaf Plumbing, Heating, Air Conditioning. That's an early edition of the Nuggets today here on the Sports Bash. Thanks, Nugs. We'll do it again tomorrow. Coming up, it is championship weekend in college football. The best bets from Jeff Nadeau are next.
You're listening to the Sports Bash with Mike Gill.
Never thought this radio stunt would catch on so big.
On 97.3 ESPN.
Go for holiday bliss. Whether naughty or nice, you are not going to want to miss this. Go for nights that shine with friends, a toast so fine. Go to find Santa's place. Go to find things. Go to give the gift of cheer with the card that brings dreams near. With endless fun and things to do, it is the gift that keeps on giving too. Go for the dazzling lights. It's quite a sight. Go to Ocean Casino Resort for holiday magic of every sort.
My ride smells just right, just right, just right, just right. Y'all gotta try that Febreze car. Just right, just right, just right. Yeah. La 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 la. With up to 40 days of consistency, all over Febreze car clips right on your vent. You know my car's my happy place. Keep that smile on my face when it smells just right, just right, just right. Yeah, breathe happy Febreze. La 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 la.
Comcast Business is celebrating the holidays by giving your business the $1,000 holiday bonus when you switch to a gig speed internet package. Just imagine the thousands of possibilities of a $1,000 prepaid card. Like possibility number 12, the new laptop for the office holiday hero. Or possibility number 108, smart speakers to deck those hallways. Or possibility number 192, new equipment for the new year. Or possibility number 555, Bluetooth holiday lights for office decor. Switch to Comcast Business, designed for 100% reliability with business internet and wireless connect, plus advanced cybersecurity, and now get the $1,000 holiday bonus. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Install 1425. New customers only with 2-year agreement. Requires qualifying gig package. Other restrictions apply.
Protect your home and auto by bundling them with Progressive, and you'll have a little less to worry about. But we know you'll find other things to worry about. Like that text you just got from your boss. Hey, call me when you get a sec. Hey, call me when you get a sec. Hey, call me when you get a sec. Oh, hey, call me when you get a sec. Yeah, this is bad. Oh, well, at least you protected your home and auto with Progressive, so you don't have to worry about that. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
Contact Tax Relief Helpers for details and restrictions.
Attention, anyone that owes money to the IRS. Every day, your unpaid tax debt gets bigger and bigger from daily interest. The longer you wait, the more you will end up paying. If you owe $10,000 or more, now is the time to settle your debt before the IRS takes aggressive action, like taking your wages or property. A special toll-free number has been established so you can stop penalty fees, avoid liens, levies, or other hostile measures by the IRS. Call Tax Relief Helpers right now.
I got behind on my taxes and owed $48,000. I called and they got my bill lowered to just $3,500.
I owed $87,000 in taxes and it was scary. I got the amount I owed down to just $3,500. I saved $83,500.
If you owe money to the IRS, don't wait another day. Your tax debt gets bigger and bigger from daily interest. Call right now before the IRS enforces liens, levies, or other aggressive measures. The call and consult are absolutely free. Call now.
Call 800-354-5850. 800-354-5850. That's 800-354-5850.
The countdown is on because diamonds are lighting up the holidays at Robert's Fine Jewelers. December 11th through the 14th only. 4 days to save big on diamond studs, diamond necklaces, diamond tennis bracelets, diamond rings, gemstone jewelry, and so much more. If it sparkles, it's on sale. This is the holiday event you've been waiting for to finish checking off those wish lists. Make this the biggest holiday ever at Robert's Fine Jewelers at the Plaza at Center Point in Northfield, December 11th through the 14th. Robert's Fine Jewelers, where your holiday sparkles. Online at robertsfinejewelers.com.
You're listening to the Sports Bash with Mike Gill.
And it just keeps getting better.
On 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
All right, championship weekend, the conference championship games. You can listen to them all on 97.3 ESPN and Rock 104.1. Tomorrow night, the American Conference game at 8 o'clock on Rock 104.1. That's North Texas and Tulane. Actually a fun game. Then Saturday, all day long, noon, BYU, Texas Tech. That game will be on Rock 104.1. Georgia, Alabama on 97.3. Indiana, Ohio State on 97.3. Duke, Virginia. That game will be on Rock 104.1. And those games, the Duke-Virginia game is interesting because if Virginia wins, they essentially would probably be in the playoffs. But if Duke wins, it appears that the ACC will be left out of the playoff field. There's so many interesting storylines with the playoffs. There's Jeff Nadeau. He is back after the Thanksgiving holiday. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving, my man. How are you?
I'm doing good, Mike, and same to you. Same to all the people out there in South Jersey or everywhere else. Hope you all had a great Thanksgiving.
I was supposed to be traveling to your neck of the woods next weekend, but I think my travel plans have changed. But if I head out that way, I'll let you know, all right?
Sounds good. Let me know.
I'm going to be heading to Lancaster at, I don't know, supposed to be next weekend. If I'm out there, I'll text you.
I'll be around.
Yeah, man, I'll hook up with you there. Let's look at some of the things that are happening in this Friday night games. The one game that's interesting is the Sun Belt. Troy and James Madison. James Madison's a 22.5-point favorite here. And they are in play for the playoffs here. This is a very important game for them. I wonder if style points mean anything to them as well. Do you like this 22.5?
Well, they absolutely mean something. Now, what they're rooting for is they're hoping that North Texas beat Tulane. Again, they're hoping that someone gets knocked out. Again, both those teams, I think one's in, so I guess it really won't matter. But that said, all they care about is, style points. They're going to have to win by as many points as possible and probably get lucky, right? I mean, I guess Tulane would be your first thought, being the group. But, look, they're 23.5-point favorites. This was bet up right away from 21.5. And I think what makes it interesting is Sharps didn't care about it was above 21. They were playing it, right? So, I would bet this probably up to 24. I have a future on JMU to win the Sun Belt, which looks to be pretty good. I think that's going to come in, Mike, I would hope, as 23.5-point favorite. This team is unbelievable defensively. They allowed -5 rushing yards last week to Coastal Carolina, won that game 59-10. I think it would be a sad travesty if they don't get in. If they win this game 48-0, not that I think they should be in now. As long as they win, I think they should be in. They've been unbelievable all season.
So, James Madison, you like them, 22.5, 23.5, 21.5, somewhere in there. Teams favored by 10 or more points in the conference championship games are 7-0 against the spread over the last 5 years. So, if you are the better team when you get to this game, you generally take care of business. The other one, though, North Texas is a 2.5-point favorite. They're on the road, though. Excuse me. They are a 2.5-point dog on the road, though, at Tulane. That's a pretty small margin. They're basically saying these two teams are about even.
Yeah, and you look at this game, it's kind of a weird one because both these coaches have already accepted jobs elsewhere. Eric Morris at Arkansas, and then John Summerall at Tulane. He's going to Florida, but they're both going to coach. So it'll be a nice kind of swan song for these teams. I took North Texas here, Mike. I played it at 2.5. A couple of things I like about them here. Obviously, they're 9-2 against the spread this season, one of the best marks in the country. You mentioned it's on the road. That hasn't mattered. They've covered 4 of the last 5 on the road. They're also a great team as a favorite. They've covered 9 of the last 10 laying points. They're just a really good against the spread team. They have the better defense to me. They have the significantly better offense. And that's what really comes down to me, Mike, in this game. To win in football, you have to score touchdowns in the red zone. North Texas is number 1. They've been to the red zone 70 times this year. They've scored a touchdown 80% of the time. That is few and far between the best number in the country. Tulane, 101st in that metric. When they get to the red zone, they really struggle to score touchdowns. It won't surprise me if we look back and Tulane loses. They do bad in the red zone. I think North Texas has been the best team. I think they finish it out on a high note here.
All right, I know if I know you, like I think I know you, you want to talk Kennesaw State, Jacksonville State in that game there. That's one tomorrow. It's 2.5. Kennesaw is favored in that game as well.
Yeah, I don't honestly, Mike. I think it's a pretty even game. It's a big revenge game for Kennesaw. I think they're the better team here, but it didn't strike me as much. I didn't have much interest in it overall. I think Kennesaw will win, but I didn't bet it, actually.
All right. Let me then go to – I thought I knew you better than that, man. That's the kind of game that's right up your alley. Boise, a lot of people complaining about the Mountain West and what happened in there. They're in. They are favored 4.5 over UNLV on Friday night.
This is a great game because I think you would be right. UNLV probably shouldn't have been there. That said, the computer rankings had them as the second-best team, and they're there. Boise's beat them like 10 straight times, including this season they beat them already. Last season, Mountain West Tournament, beat them there as well. I will admit, Mike, I have UNLV 8-1 to win this conference, right? So I bet it preseason. They're there. I have a shot.
A nice hedge.
But I'm not hedging. I think they win this game. I think they're the better team for a couple of reasons. Number one, Boise's quarterback, Maddox Madsen's been injured the last couple of weeks. Something tells me they're putting him in there and he's not completely healthy. My concern is we have a John Mateer situation where he's just not effective and they kind of are just kind of wonky the whole game. Throw in, Boise cannot stop the run. They're allowing almost 5 yards a carry. UNLV's offense has the best quarterback in the conference in Calandria. The run game's been terrific. And this defense has really figured it out. They've been much better under Paul Gunther. I think they wipe the bad taste out of their mouth about losing to UNLV so frequently. Even, Mike, this year, they lost 56-31 to Boise, but it was really just a bad third quarter. The game was virtually tied at the half. They had a bad third quarter. I think UNLV gets some huge revenge. I think Dan Mullen gets the job done here. I like UNLV.
All right, let's go to some of the big boys here. Saturday, noon. You can listen to this game on Rock 104.1. BYU, Texas Tech, they've played once. Texas Tech favored by 13.5 or 13, depending on where you're looking. They are 9-0 against the spread as a 10-point or more favorite this season. So they have been dominant. They won the first meeting between these two games. BYU was a 13.5-point dog the first time they lost by 22. What's the rematch?
Well, they've been a great favorite, Mike, because they're an absolutely unbelievable defense. They're allowing 11 points a game. They have really been the poster boys of what to do in the transfer portal. Go out and get a bunch of big kids up front, some good kids in the secondary. They have an elite secondary. They have an even better pass rush. They get to the quarterback. They stop the run. And they made life very difficult in the first game on Bear Buckmeyer. I had the under in that game. I played under 52. It went way under. I played the under here, 50.5. It's at 49.5. I think both defenses are actually really good. And Mike, any other year, a team giving up 18 points a game would be a top 10 defense, but there have been some elite defenses. Both these teams very good defensively. They both play very slow. Neither team is good in the red zone. I think this game is a lot closer to the vest. I'm going to say 24-13, 27-17, something like that. I like the under here. I think this is a low-scoring game on Saturday.
Okay, under, depending on where you're at, I see 49.5 on the app that I'm
Still a good
perusing
number.
through right now. Yeah, 49.5 goes under the number you gave us. SEC, Georgia, Alabama. Oh, boy, this one's interesting. Georgia is favored by 2.5 in this game. Alabama is, 5-1 against the spread and straight up against Georgia since 2019. I mean, when these two teams have played, it has typically gone Alabama's way.
Right, and you look at Alabama, the last time Georgia lost back on September 27th was against Alabama, 24-21. Since then, Georgia has really made mincemeat of everybody for the most part. They blew out Texas. They blew out and put up 43 against Ole Miss. I mean, they beat Auburn. They beat Georgia Tech. They beat everyone on the thing. The only team they haven't beaten this year was Alabama. Major revenge game. To me, Alabama's a bit overrated. I just feel they're a bit fraudulent. They've really not impressed me at any point this season. I think Georgia defensively is better. I think they're a little bit more balanced on offense. I love Gunnar Stockton. I think he's had a great season overall. He's just been overshadowed by, Mendoza and Sayin, but I think he's been right there. I think Georgia gets the job done in revenge. I played the money line here. I bet this pretty early, but I think up under anything under 3, I would play still.
All right, you mentioned Sayin and Mendoza. They play on Saturday night. That game's on 97.3 ESPN. Now, 5.5, I think, is where DraftKings had it. I got it at 4 right now on Fanatics. That's a big shift right there. Indiana is a dog. Now, you and I have cleaned up on Indiana a lot this year, but this is a much tougher spot for Indiana. They have not played Ohio State. They have not played Michigan. So they kind of got the easier Big Ten group of teams here. But are they ready to step up here as a 4-point dog in the Big Ten championship game?
Yeah, so, Mike, I'll be honest. This is the other future I have. I have Ohio State 2-1 preseason to win this whole thing. And I just need a win here, but I'm getting more worried as the day goes on. This number just keeps dropping. It's clear this is a sharp public split. Sharps will be on Indiana. Squares will be on Ohio State. I think Ohio State, I just can't bet against a defense, Mike, giving up 8 points a game. Mike, understand that in 12 games this year, Ohio State's allowed 93 combined points in 12 games. That's unbelievable. They've allowed 44 yards less than any other team in America game to game. They're just unbelievable. I think this game, though, sadly, is going to come down to coaching, and I like Signetti a little bit more. I think the game is a field goal game. I really do. I think it's an ugly first to 20 wins type of game. I mean, Indiana, if I told you, Mike, the team gave up 11 points a game, you would say that's the best defense in the country, unless you play Ohio State, who's going to play better on defense. Indiana's right there. I think the big plays are limited. I think as long as you avoid those, I don't see how this team gets 48. I'm going to be rooting for Ohio State, but I'm getting more worried as the day comes by. If you get 4.5, I don't like teasers, so you can tease this up above 10 with Indiana, find another partner there. I think that's a really good.
Yeah, by the way, Indiana, neither one of these teams really need to play this game. That's the problem. You don't know what the mindset is. They're both into the playoffs. But Ohio State 6-1 against the spread against top 5 teams since last year. No other team has more than – go ahead.
Real quick, I think everybody wants to be undefeated, right? That's kind of cool, right? But yeah, you're virtually right. That's the problem with these this 12-team playoff.
Did you see Gruden's thought about what to do with these playoffs? It would never happen.
I didn't know.
He basically wants the teams that play these championship games, he thinks it's unfair that they have to play, and the teams that don't, they could actually get helped out by not playing. So he thinks they should have to play each other in neutral sites. And the 2 teams that play in the conference championship game, they're automatically in. Then the winners of these neutral site games, and he had like Notre Dame against Miami and JMU against somebody and Ole Miss against Tulane. Whoever wins those games, they get to fill the other 6 slots.
Well, I would love that. I think that's a great idea, and it kind of goes back to what we're seeing right now. Vanderbilt's trying to get teams to play another game against them to kind of impress the committee.
Really?
Yeah, I've heard that's been, I think, reported today. They're trying to play a 13th game, essentially.
Interesting.
But I guess I would go back to them and say, well, I mean, you should have beat Texas, right? I mean, if you beat Texas,
And the interesting thing is he had Tulane playing Ole Miss. They already played, and Ole Miss kind of Rochambeau'd them. He's like, well, play again to show if Ole Miss, without your coach, can you still play? Tulane, can you, like, and he had a lot of these rematch games. I didn't like the rematch thing. I would say the next group kind of like Miami play Ole Miss, Notre Dame play Vanderbilt, like try to switch it up a little bit.
Mike, at the end of the day, if we're talking about the G5, okay, there's 3 teams. It's either going to be North Texas, Tulane, or JMU, right? Tulane, if they lose, they're out. Okay, they're obviously not getting in. So it's going to be between North Texas and JMU. I think North Texas will win. Look, at the end of the day, North Texas lost 63-36 to South Florida. Okay, that's embarrassing. That should never happen. I can understand losing, but giving up 63. We look at JMU. They've won every game. They've won every game by margin for the most part. And the only game they lost was to an ACC team that they were tied with at the half. If JMU wins, they should be in, period.
All right. Well, the last game that I want to get is Duke, Virginia. If Virginia wins, they would essentially be in. If they lose, the ACC gets nobody. Virginia's favored by 3 here. A lot of pressure on them.
He'll never get the respect he deserves, Mike. I'll do it in about 20 seconds here. Tony Elliott, if not for 1 or 2 other coaches, he'd be the coach of the year. This guy has done an unbelievable job at Virginia. He took over. They won nothing. They had no resources. They didn't even make a bowl game last year. You look at what he did. He recognized his offensive line sucked, and he didn't have a quarterback. They went from being one of the worst offensive lines in the country to one of the best. They went from having one of the worst quarterback situations to one of the best. They have 10 wins. They beat Miami. I think they go on a real high note. They owned Duke in the first game. The game was 34-3 at the end of the third. Duke had some garbage at the end. Still won by double digits. Virginia's terrific. They have a great defense, significantly better than Duke. I think Virginia takes care of business and makes it easy on the committee. And it would cap off a terrific season for, to me, one of the best coaches. If I'm if I'm Penn State, I would throw the kitchen sink at Tony Elliott. I don't think he would do it, but he is unbelievable. He's a real coach.
Got it. I like it. Great breakdown. A lot of fun. Championship weekend. Wish they had more feel to them, but we'll see. There you go. There's some plays for you. And then bowl season is coming up. We'll do a lot of stuff with that. Jeff Nadeau, at Jeff Nadeau, of course. You can follow all of his betting and social media. Follow him at Jeff Nadeau. Thanks, man.
Lions beat the Cowboys tonight, by the way.
Is that your rough and rowdy pick right there? Bet the Lions?
Yeah, because I just feel, look, I like what Dallas has done, but, I mean, they're getting way too much love in the market. Detroit's not getting any. I think Detroit at home takes care of business here tonight.
All right, way to go out on that one. I like it. All right, see you, man.
All
All right, Jeff Nadeau, everybody, here on the Sports Bash Live. When we come back, it's our unsportsmanlike moment of the day. It's coming up next.
Kevin Kugler here from Thursday Night Football on Westwood One. Week 14 kicks off with a matchup of playoff bubble teams when Jared Goff and the Lions battled Dak Prescott and the Cowboys. Detroit stands at 7-5 on the season, but is coming off a loss last week. Now they face a 6-5-1 Dallas team looking for a 4th straight win. Ross Tucker joins me for the call on Thursday Night Football.
Listen to Thursday Night Football. Coverage begins at 7:30 on 97.3 ESPN.
Introducing the new Vineland Commuter Express with nonstop bus service between the Vineland Transportation Center and the Atlantic City Bus Terminal. In Vineland, connect with regional New Jersey transit buses to Camden, Philadelphia, Gloucester County, and more. In Atlantic City, catch jitneys to the casinos or New Jersey Transit and other bus routes to Philadelphia, New York, and beyond. For work or play, the Vineland Commuter Express leaves twice a day from Vineland and Atlantic City, and it's just $6. Learn more at driveless.com.
If you've been waiting to try learning a new language with Babbel, now is the time. For just a few more days, you can unlock all of the languages on Babbel with a lifetime subscription at our largest discount of the year. Where will Babbel take you? Find out at Babbel.com. Y una cosa más. This is your last chance because our biggest sale of the year ends on December 7th. For just a few more days, you can get Babbel's lifetime access for less at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com.
Hey, nice job, Pete. I like those clean lines. Fellas, do we have anyone that can get to Greenport today?
At Corey's Landscaping, the staffing plan is in the weeds.
Anthony, we need that leaf blower over here. 3 more new customer requests just came in. Who wants to work some overtime?
He needs to dig up quality landscapers and fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed, you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, Dan, that spaceship-wide lunch meeting at noon, please say it's not more astronaut ice cream and powdered orange drink.
Negatory. Ground control hooked us up with EasyCater, so now we can order from a galaxy of restaurants with tools to stay on budget and meet our dietary needs.
Thank heavens. My dairy tolerance and anti-gravity is not great.
And with EasyCater, it's all on one simple platform, so we can focus on space stuff, like that asteroid. So how about tacos? Hold the cheese.
EasyCater, a stellar way to order food for work. Order now at EasyCater.com.
FIFA World Cup 2026 is coming soon, but your opportunity to be there starts now through an exclusive offer with an eligible Bank of America Visa credit card. For a limited time, become a new customized cash rewards or unlimited cash rewards Visa credit card holder, and you will be eligible for a chance to purchase FIFA World Cup 2026 tickets. Learn more at BofA.com/cardFWC26. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America, proud to be the official bank of FIFA World Cup 2026. Bank of America NA in partnership with Visa. Terms apply. Awards reserved.
Welcome to Cricket Wireless. Santa?
I've got to get Mrs. Claus a gift or I'm in a whole lot of trouble.
How about a single unlimited line? Only $35, plus a free Moto G 5G.
Dude, you're a lifesaver. Here, take a present.
Says it's for Timmy in Des Moines.
Never heard of him.
Join Cricket Nation and get a single line for $35 per month, plus a free Moto G 5G. Smile, you're on Cricket.
Cricket may temporarily slow data speeds if the network is busy. Requires activation of new line on select unlimited plan or higher. Pay $40 first month. New lines only. First month service charge. Tax due at sale fees. Terms and restrictions apply. Cricket 5G is not available everywhere. See cricketwireless.com for details.
Protect your home and auto with a bundle from Progressive so you can stop worrying about them and invent new things to worry about, like snakes in your bedroom. Sure, that sounds incredibly irrational, but now that we've mentioned it, you are a little worried. The odds of one snake, let alone snakes plural, are so slim. But you might want to check. Oh, you're not near your bedroom. Guess you'll just have to sit there and worry about it. So let Progressive protect your home and auto, because you've got enough to worry about. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Experience casino like never before at Bet365. Spin your way through your favorite games. Check out our awesome table games and face off against a real live dealer. And play exclusive games that you simply can't play anywhere else. New Bet365 players get a 100% deposit match bonus up to $1,000 plus spins. Download the app and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically present in New Jersey and Pennsylvania. T&Cs apply.
You're listening to The Sports Bash with Mike Gill on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
I think the realities of where he wants to go and what that team would have to offer, it doesn't feel like they'll be capable of giving Milwaukee what he wants in return. When you look at the trade package that the New York Knicks could potentially give the Milwaukee Bucks, it's going to have to be player-led because they don't really have a whole lot of draft assets. The Knicks don't want to give up OG Anunoby, which undoubtedly the Milwaukee Bucks would have to demand. Deuce McBride would have to be included in that. I just don't see a world where the Knicks in a two-team trade would be able to put together a package that would make sense for the Milwaukee Bucks.
So that's what Chris Canty said this morning on Unsportsmanlike. It's our Unsportsmanlike moment of the day, brought to you by Whitehorse RV Centers. He's saying the Knicks don't have the package to get something to get Giannis over here, right? So we asked on a poll question at Mike Gill Show, would you trade for Giannis? Now, we never put a package out there, but guess what the percentages are right now, gentlemen? We asked Pete G, and you said?
Emphatically yes.
We asked Josh Henning, and you said?
Emphatically no.
Well, it's 50-50 on the poll question right now. 50% say yes, they would trade for Giannis if you were a Sixer fan, and 50% say no, they would not trade for Giannis if they were the Sixer fan. Now, me, if I'm the tiebreaker here, what am I giving up? Well, one of the trades I saw floated out there, I forget who did it, but it was Edgecombe, Paul George, and 2 first-round picks for Giannis. The question I would have to get if I'm the Sixers, I would have to have literally a full-blown medical report on Giannis. Because I can't deal with all, is he hurt, is he playing? Giannis is out right now. Josh, how long is he out for?
2 to 3 weeks.
Can't deal with that right now. Can't deal with that. By the way, any update on B? Game time decision. Don't know if he's playing. Same thing every night. I know Paul George is out. By the way, Adam Aronson, Sixers Adam on Twitter from PhillyVoice.com covers the Sixers. Going to make his first appearance on the Sports Bash. I'm excited about this. I've been following his stuff on Twitter X for a while. He does a great job, and he's over at Philly Voice now. And Mosher actually said to me, hey, man, you ever talk to Sixers Adam? I said, actually, no. I follow him on Twitter. I see all his stuff. I never actually had him on the show.
How about Mosher pulling some strings?
Well, Mosher works for his Philly voice now,
true,
so
yeah.
he was saying, hey, you should try to reach out to him. So you know what? I said, I will. And we're going to have him on at 3:30. I think, he's one of the great Sixer follows out there. He does a lot of clip stuff, really good stuff at Philly Voice. 3:30, if you're a Sixer fan, you don't want to miss Sixers. Adam Aronson coming up at 4:30 on the Sports Bash.
It's Sixers Warriors.
Tonight on Rock 104.1 with the voice of the Sixers, Tom McGinnis, calling all the exciting play-by-play action.
Here's Maxey on a drive. Maxey, 3 guys are there, banked it in. Like, I dare you to stop me. I will not be denied. Tyrese Maxey.
It's Sixers basketball tonight. Coverage begins at 7 p.m. on South Jersey's classic rock station.
Are you kidding me?
Rock 104.1.
Get your game on at the Fanatic Sportsbook in the gallery at Ocean Casino Resort. Go to Ocean Casino Resort. Go for the win. For more information, visit theoceanac.com.
If your appliances can't handle the holiday hosting heat, December deal drops at Lowe's makes upgrading easy. Get up to 35% off select major appliances, and rewards members save an additional $40 on the Whirlpool electric range and the over-the-range microwave. Plus, get up to 60% off select ladders so you can deck all the halls. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 12/10. While supplies last. Selection varies by location. Loyalty program subject to terms and conditions. See Lowe's.com/terms for details.
Find what you love and love what you find at Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you.
With the lowest prices for over 30 years, find what you love only at Total Wine and More. Drink responsibly, B21.
Imagine being the wizard of your own home. With Xfinity, intelligent self-healing Wi-Fi fixes problems like magic. It boostifies speeds to your devices when you need it most, and makes your favorite Wicked content sparklify on every screen. All while a spell of protection helps keep your family safe online. When you're out in Oz, Xfinity Mobile joins Wi-Fi and 5G to keep your phone connected from here to the Emerald City. If you had the most intelligent Wi-Fi from Xfinity, everything would work together for good. And now you can cast a spell to stop time and keep your internet bill steady for 5 whole years with the Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. No contracts or commitments with amazifying equipment included. Xfinity, imagine that. And see Wicked for good, only in theaters November 21st. Restrictions apply. Select plans only. Xfinity Mobile requires Xfinity Internet.
FIFA World Cup 2026 is coming soon, but your opportunity to be there starts now through an exclusive offer with an eligible Bank of America Visa credit card. For a limited time, become a new customized cash rewards or unlimited cash rewards Visa credit card holder, and you will be eligible for a chance to purchase FIFA World Cup 2026 tickets. Learn more at BofA.com/cardFWC26. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America, proud to be the official bank of FIFA World Cup 2026. Bank of America N.A. in partnership with Visa. Terms apply. Rights reserved.
Contact Tax Relief Helpers for details and restrictions.
Attention, anyone that owes money to the IRS. Every day, your unpaid tax debt gets bigger and bigger from daily interest. The longer you wait, the more you will end up paying. If you owe $10,000 or more, now is the time to settle your debt before the IRS takes aggressive action, like taking your wages or property. A special toll-free number has been established so you can stop penalty fees, avoid liens, levies, or other hostile measures by the IRS. Call Tax Relief Helpers right now.
I got behind on my taxes and owed $48,000. I called and they got my bill lowered to just $3,500.
I owed $87,000 in taxes and it was scary. I got the amount I owed down to just $3,500. I saved $83,500.
If you owe money to the IRS, don't wait another day. Your tax debt gets bigger and bigger from daily interest. Call right now before the IRS enforces liens, levies, or other aggressive measures. The call and consult are absolutely free. Call now.
Call 800-354-5850. 800-354-5850. That's 800-354-5850.
Home of the Philadelphia Eagles.
They got him again!
Sixers.
Bang! It's good! Ball game!
And Flyers.
Tipped in front of the net!
97.3 ESPN. WENJ. WENJ HD. Millville, Atlantic City. A Town Square media station serving all of South Jersey. 97.3 ESPN presents The Sports Bash with Mike Gill. It's time for Football at 4 with Adam Kaplan, powered by the Inside the Birds podcast.
I give my heart and soul to this franchise, as so many of us do.
Now live, this is Football at 4.
We're powered by the Inside the Birds podcast. It is brought to you by the Fanatic Sportsbook at Ocean Casino Resort in Atlantic City. Adam Kaplan's here today as the Eagles get some big news on the injury front. Usually Adam is on Friday's show for Football at 4, and we talk injuries. Well, we got injury news at the top of today's show. Adam Kaplan, let's bring you right in and talk a little bit about this. A procedure on both shoulders here, and this is interesting because they get the procedure on both shoulders. He hopes to be ready for the playoff run. Kind of ambiguous on what this all is here. So how long has this been an issue here for Jalen Carter?
All right, Mike, so let's go back to our reporting when he was drafted. You know, we talked a lot about on your show and all of our platforms about, the off-the-field concerns. It's been well detailed. But what we added that really wasn't out there very much, if at all, was that he had a shoulder problem. And clubs were concerned about it. It wasn't that he couldn't play with it. It's how long could he go? Could he have an 8-year career, 10-year? There was a problem. We didn't know it was both, though. Now, what the thing is, Mike, we don't know if one more, did something else happen recently? We know he had the bad shoulder. In fact, Mike, he came to training camp. If you recall, the Eagles would put out their training camp injury report, and the first day it said shoulder. I was like, wow, he's had shoulder. He's been on the injury report a lot with the shoulder issue since he was drafted. But we don't know what happened to the other shoulder. But both were done. So, Mike, remember now, this is a concern. Yes, he's had this cleaned up, and we don't know exactly what kind of procedure. If it was just a scope, fine, but it doesn't mean that he's going to be back in 2 weeks. You worry about this long term, Mike. There wasn't that concern that we got from clubs that we talked to. A lot of people in scouting, guys who had the areas from Georgia. But it was never like, okay, well, he may not play 6 or 7 years. It was like that it could go. This could be a recurring issue, but you worry about this because shoulders, man. It can become a problem.
Right. So, what would have to kind of happen for him to play here? I mean, he's played obviously through the season last week. Obviously, it sounded like Vic Fangio did indicate that he's having some shoulder issues. Now we're at this stage of the game. What has to happen for him to play this season?
Yeah, so basically, Mike, he's got to get clear for contact on both shoulders, Mike. He's got to feel that he can do whatever he needs to do to play, Mike. That's the thing. He can't worry about it. He's got to feel comfortable. I mean, that's, there's certain type of injuries that you have, because you said this at the top, we don't know exactly what got repaired on the shoulder. Was it labrum? We don't really know. In fact, I have to go back and talk to some of the area scouts that I know who gave us information for that draft, if they remember exactly what it was, because it's been 3 years, so sometimes guys they may not have that information available. But he's got to get cleared for contact on both shoulders. It's actually very important, and he's got to feel confident in it. And then Vic Fangio, and this is the thing with Vic, and a lot of younger coaches who are concerned about their job, they may it's the medical. By the way, he's got to get cleared medically from the medical staff, but. From a coaching standpoint, some guys are like, this is our best player on defense. We got to play him. Well, yeah, Vic would like to have him, but if he can't do his job well, he won't play in the normal amount of snaps. As much as Vic loves to, I hate to say this, but there's evidence of it not only here but with the Niners, because I was told that he will overwork players. Like he plays starters a lot of snaps. He doesn't like to rotate very much. He did in this game because nobody played well in the defensive front. So Mike, he's got to look right to play his normal number of snaps. So this is something we'll be monitoring. You can't just plug and play somebody. He's got to be right physically. So let's just be careful of assuming, and that he'll be good as new. Now, what Greg Cosell told us on Inside the Tape, because I asked him a couple weeks ago, he said, finally Carter starts looking like the Carter of old, because he's not had a great season. He's down in production. The tape's not as good.
Yeah.
And then recently, Mike, he started playing much better. But I'm not talking last week's game. Games leading up to last week's game.
Right. We'll get into because obviously we're talking a little bit about him not having him now, how to replace him. Real quick, for what it's worth, Pro Football Doc David Chao says he thinks it was likely PRP injections rather than surgery, because they said a procedure. They did not say surgery. He'll miss a couple of weeks. The Eagles could keep him off IR if they need him back, but if not, he may sit out the remainder of the regular season. So, there's a lot of ambiguous talk about he could come back. He might be ready for a playoff run. But I thought Wes Bowen put out an interesting tweet. He says, I don't know any surgeries where you can come back and play defensive tackle in like 2 weeks here.
No, but if it's PR plasma replacement, actually, no, it was funny. It was actually DeMarco Murray. I had a report when DeMarco Murray was an Eagle that he had PRP. He had the injection, and that got him back. Actually, not too long. I don't remember the exact timeline. This is 10 years ago. God, I cannot believe it's 10 years ago. But the bottom line is, that's when you talk about a procedure, that's what we know Dr. Chow. I know exactly what he's talking about. Mm-hmm. There's no way you could have both shoulders done and be back in 2 weeks. So
right.
that would explain that. Yeah, that's a fair point.
All right. So what is the plan? Who do they have? I saw last week, I was looking at Andrew DeCecco, who usually puts out the snap counts, and actually noticed that Ojomo played one more snap than Carter did last week. One was at like 62. The other one was at 61. You had Jordan Davis. You had Byron Young. And then you have practice squad guys.
Right. So what's going to happen is, Mike, it's going to be Byron Young, and then Ty Robinson's next up. Now, what I will tell you, because he had a good training camp, I know they released him to get him in the practice squad. That's Gabe Hall. Gabe Hall had a good training camp. Like he did a good job. I know he has great length, but he doesn't have the quickness that Vic Fangio would like. But he's a good football player. He's a guy that needs to get a chance here. But the issue now with Ty Robinson is this. We've been asked this, so I'll just explain it to you. He had a technique issue in training camp. He didn't have a good training camp. He's a flash player. He needs a lot of work. He needs a full offseason, Mike, where he could work on technique with Clint Hurtt, the defensive line coach, because he's a guy I know they were excited about when they drafted him. They thought they got a good value. He's very popular in scouting circles, Ty Robinson, but he just wasn't ready to contribute, and that's what's happened this season. Byron Young's been a nice story. Number 94, you'll see him on Sunday. Not Sunday, Monday night, excuse me. Yep. I need to get the dates right. Against the Chargers, Mike. So when you watch this game, Mike, look, this is the problem, okay? Carter was the most double-team defensive tackle in the National Football League by the metrics that the Eagles had, and he gets double-teamed a lot still. He causes havoc. There's no question. Even when he's not quite himself, he's still very good. Ojomo is not a power player. This is where they miss Milt Williams. Milt Williams is a phenomenal football player, and unfortunately he's on an IR with a high ankle sprain, but he's a power player. You could two-gap him. You could one-gap him. He's so good, and they don't have that guy without Carter. Milt Williams would be Milt Williams would be the guy right now if Carter wasn't playing. But they're just going to have Jordan Davis. Look, he doesn't rush the passer well, although he's done a little bit better. This impacts everything they do, Mike. Russian cover and rush. It really does. I'm just telling you.
Listen. We've seen them play without him on defense. It hasn't gone well.
Good. And I'm just going to tell you because I won't be with you. I think Jeff and I are going to be switching spots. So I'll be with you on Monday. I could tell you. I'll just tell you now. All week I was going to pick the Eagles. I picked the Bears last week. I was going to pick the Eagles to beat the Chargers. We'll see. Now we have to see if Herbert's playing. I know he's planning to play. He made it very clear to the media that he's going to plan to play, but we'll see if he gets cleared. But it's going to be very hard for them to win because their defense did not play well last week, and it's going to be hard to beat the Chargers without Carter.
Well, so the impact on the defense until he gets back is you are like there. You're also looking at Marcus Epps, most likely stepping in there. He's been out for pretty much the whole side. Hasn't played a lot of defense here at all. I guess the Eagles tried to put in a claim for Slay. He gets picked up by the Bills. He then retires here. I mean, this is all, the Eagles in real time trying to, hang on for dear life with some of the impact on some of these injuries to their defense.
Yeah, it's a tough deal, Mike. You basically have to change the way you look at this, Mike, in terms of this game, and Marcus Epps going in. The only issue is Marcus Epps has to look like himself coming off his injury. If he does, he'll start over Sidney Brown. Sidney Brown, as a friend of mine in scouting said, I stole this line. It's the funniest thing I heard all season. He said Sidney Brown is the Keely Ringo of safeties. He's a really good special teams player. You really don't want him out there on defense. It's just one of those things. He doesn't cover very well. He's a box safety. And that's what he is, Mike. It's just you don't draft box safeties that early. As much as he was, he's that gold star player, whatever they call him, red star for character. He just doesn't cover well, and that's shown up.
Yep, he certainly athletic, flashy. He kind of reminds you a little bit of like a Troy Polamalu, where he's just throwing his body all over the place.
In the box.
Yep.
Yeah,
but
in the box. Sure.
Coverage is a problem. All right, there you go. There's the update with Jalen Carter. He will be out for the game Monday, and quite frankly, could be out for a lot longer than that. We'll see. We'll keep our eyes on that. Adam Kaplan for today's Football at 4 here on the Sports Bash Live on 97.3 ESPN. Thanks, Adam.
Thank you.
All right, Adam pinch hitting today for DeCecco, and of course, DeCecco will be on tomorrow's show. We take a look at some of the things here. All right, so there's the news that we had earlier today, right? The news was that Carter is out for the game and likely will be out multiple weeks. And according to Dr. Chow, Pro Football Doc, who tweeted out what happened here, he thinks it's PRP injections, not surgery. That doesn't mean he's out for the season, but it didn't sound like he thought that this was like, hey, right around the corner, I'll be ready to play here. So that is definitely – I think it's just a gut punch for this team, man. You're struggling. Your offense is struggling. Your defense has been your calling card. But all of a sudden, the best player in your defense now, he can't play. You saw what this defense looked like without him. They don't have a great – it's one thing if you had, a guy like Ty Robinson they drafted in the 4th round. He hasn't given you anything this year. So if you were like, oh, man, there's this young player. Now, what Kaplan said I thought was interesting is like he's a flash player. Could he be a guy that's just not a practice player, but you get him out in the game and he just like shows that, hey, I'm just a different animal when it comes to playing games. I don't know. This is what Dr. David Chow said. He is the Pro Football Doc on Twitter X. He was the team physician doctor for the then San Diego Chargers. And you guys who follow social media, he does a lot of coverage of injuries as they happen on Twitter X. This is what he said about the Jalen Carter injury.
Don't worry, Eagles fans. The sky is not falling. Adam Schefter reported procedures on both shoulders. What are those procedures? I don't believe that to be surgery. Why? A, you would never do bilateral shoulder surgery at the same time. B, he was seen in the locker room without even a sling on. My belief is he had PRP type injections to both his shoulders. And with that, it requires a shutdown. He has been having shoulder issues on and off for a while. That Black Friday game, said he was driven back, wasn't himself. And so he wanted to get PRP likely into his shoulder. And if you're going to get PRP in one shoulder and get shut down, and if the other shoulder is not 100%, why not do both sides and take the time? He said he wants to get right for pivotal games later this season or playoffs, and it's probably smart for the Eagles to do so.
All right, so does that make anybody feel better?
I mean, yes and no, right? I guess.
I mean, it didn't sound – he said the sky is not falling. In other words, his season is not over. I mean, it put me in a better spot. I don't feel great that he's not playing. It's like This is the game right now for me that tells me a lot. This is like a very pivotal game to me. Now, if Dallas wins tonight, it puts a lot of pressure that you have to get this game. And I feel if they get this game, that maybe kind of turns their season. It's different from a team that's struggling, and then they go and beat the Raiders. If you're a struggling team and you go on the road and beat a good Chargers team, that makes me kind of feel like there's some togetherness. Let's get this thing right. Let's get the ship steered. Let's get this thing rolling here. But if you get gut punched again because Jalen Carter's out and you're just getting beat up on the ground, that's a little bit of a concern. So
then I think then it would be panic time. I mean, that would be panic button all over the place.
You believe that Monday will be rough. Actually, that Tuesday.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, that would be one-and-done territory in the playoffs, right? If you even, I mean.
Well, Dallas, depending on what they had now, Nadeau was pretty confident to take the Lions tonight.
Yeah, and I don't know if St. Brown's going to be playing. He's questionable.
Yeah, both offensive lines in this game, Philadelphia and San Diego, L.A., rank in the bottom half of the league in pass block win rate.
They're also two of the most injured offensive lines in the NFL.
And that's part of that's one of the reasons why both offensive lines rank in the bottom half is because they have been both kind of beat up. Now, the Eagles have lost 2 straight games. Another loss here would tie their longest losing streak under Nick Sirianni. They lost 3 straight games, not in 2023. Actually, in 2023 they did as well, but going back to 2021. In 2023 they lost week 13, 14, and 15. So it was these late games where the season kind of like fell apart on them. Early in his tenure, he lost 3 straight from weeks 2, 3, and 4. So this is kind of not in the Eagles' territory to go on a 3-game losing streak. But 8 turnovers are tied for the second fewest in the NFL. But 4 of those 8 turnovers have come in the last 2 weeks. So we can go back to this question. Is this just kind of like an anomaly that they keep turning the ball over and they'll clean that back up? And if they don't turn the ball over, they'll end up, winning these close. Look, these games are close games that they're losing. The Dallas game, they're up 21-0. They end up losing a close game to Dallas. The Chicago game, that's a close game. I mean, they still could have won that game had they not had the turnovers. So is it as simple as not turning? Is it as simple as not turning the football over for everybody?
Well, when you talk about close games, I mean, they could go one of 2 ways, right? You could be on the right end of them, or you could not be on the right end of them. And it seems like earlier on this season, they were on the right end of them, and as of late, they have not been.
Well, we saw that last year. The Chiefs were 12-0 in one-score games. This year, they can't win these one-score games. But the Eagles are losing uncharacteristically, though. They're losing by doing something they generally do not do. They only have 8 turnovers the entire season. Think about that. There are teams that turn the ball over like 4 and 5 times in a game. They have only 8 turnovers the whole year, and 4 of them have come the last 2 weeks. So that, to me, is something that makes me feel better when I look at this team only turns the ball over 8 times all season. I do feel that is something that they clean up, right? I don't know that they fumble a punt like that. That really was a big factor in why they lost that game. They fumbled a punt.
Also, how many times is Saquon going to fumble twice in the game?
I was going to say, Saquon, multiple fumbles. Hurts, 2 turnovers in the same game. I mean, these are all reasons why you lost the game. Now you can say, hey, they keep happening over the last 2 weeks. I think, though, for it to happen 3 weeks in a row, I'd be pretty surprised.
That, and also the fact that, for those who watch the Hard Knocks, it seemed like the coaches and the players have the awareness that, hey, we got to clean this up. We got to get better. Like it's not like they're dismissing it altogether. They're aware of it. You know what I mean?
100%. All right, let's get a little bit here. I want to hear a couple of these Nick Foles things from the Season podcast. It's Nick Foles and Evan Moore. We played some stuff from Nick, I guess, on Monday or Tuesday's show this week.
Monday.
What else we have from Nick Foles that really stood out to you, Josh?
So a couple of points here. For those who don't know, so Nick Foles, he has been vocal, shall we call it, in his criticisms of the Eagles' offense. In the past, he has called it vanilla. He's called it predictable. He agrees with you and me, Mike, that they should never have, given such an important job to a guy like Kevin Patullo, which is why he believes that Frank Reich can be the kind of guy who can help not just Kevin Patullo, but also Nick Sirianni with what is going on right now.
You call Frank, and not only as a consultant, There's a couple coaches on the staff in Philly that have been with Frank. They love Frank. Frank's a mentor to Nick Sirianni. It's always great to have a mentor without an ego stepping in. That's Frank. Frank can come in there and he can give you a soundboard to sit in meetings. As a head coach, it's very lonely. As a starting quarterback, it's very lonely because you are the top of the totem pole. You are the leader. It's very difficult to have those conversations with people that can relate to what you're going through. Frank Reich absolutely can relate.
The synergy is there, obviously, right? These guys know each other. You're not just throwing a guy on him in his lap and saying, work with this guy. This is the guy that mentored Sirianni. In fact, Sirianni was his offensive coordinator, and it would essentially be the same setup as you had in Indianapolis. Frank calls the plays, and this time Sirianni's the head coach, and Frank's the coordinator. But it would be Frank doing what he did in Indianapolis. Now, I don't think they would get rid of Patullo in the play calling, but you could still bring Frank in to be a part of the practices, sit in the booth, maybe be in the ear of Patullo, and those guys could be on the same page.
And that's kind of part of what he was saying, which is that, Frank is the kind of guy who can come in and help a guy like Kevin Patullo.
Patullo was in Indianapolis with them.
Right. He was the pass game coordinator with Sirianni and Frank Reich.
I will say real quick, it's not like those Colts teams were very good.
No, but I will say one thing. That was and Nick had a very long explanation about this on the pod. We don't have the audio for it because it was just way too long. But in summary, Frank did go from Andrew Luck to Jacoby Brissett to Phillip Rivers to Carson Wentz over a 4-year period. And, 2 of those 4 years, they had a top-tier offense. So, excuse me, it was only at the end that things went sideways because of the whole, they brought Matt Ryan in. Matt Ryan didn't work out, then they fired everybody. And then, but still, Frank Reich did get to the postseason with 2 very different quarterbacks in Andrew Luck and Phillip Rivers.
The one cut we played earlier on Nuggets segment is it's really the same offense, right? It's Frank Reich's offense, so you're not really installing a new offense or trying to at least on December 4th, So it's the same offense. I would be for it. I mean, you can't really do much worse at this point. It's not like in baseball, right, where you fire the manager and you're trying to just flip the script all in one season, right? I mean, you can kind of do this and try it that way.
To your point, Pete, here is the audio we played earlier during the Nuggets segment where Nick Foles talks about, why it's Frank Reich's offense, not Sirianni's offense, that he would be helping with.
Frank would be a great asset. Say Kevin's in the box, Frank's sitting next to him. He can help him throughout the different situations. When defense goes and playing, when you're trying to figure out what first base downs, third downs you're calling next, Frank is a great asset. This is Frank's offense that Nick is running.
It's a great point.
So Frank can give you that insight. This is the number one call. If you're Jeffrey Lurie, Howie Roseman, you are getting Frank Reich there to be a consultant to help, not call plays, but to help Kevin out. So Kevin's not alone out there, man. This is his first year calling plays. That is a very difficult position to be in.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with anything he just said. Here's one thing, though. I think Patullo yesterday was pretty adamant that he does not want to sit in the box. So throw that scenario, but he could be down on the field.
Well, Frank could be in the box.
Right,
exactly. There's so many ways you can go about this. It doesn't have to be one way or the other, which is why the other thing that Nick Foles said I thought was interesting was about even Nick Foles says, hey, guys, I know that Kevin Patullo, he's the passing game coordinator. We know that Sirianni, when he called plays the first time around, was very, very heavy pass. And Foles says that the Eagles can be helped be getting back to being a run-first offense with Frank Reich.
Let's just keep it real. The Eagles are a run-first offense. They are not a pass-first offense. Even though they have these dynamic receivers and a Goddard and all these different things, they're at their best when they run the ball, and then passing is off the run. They need more play action. They need more of that. That is hard to facilitate in the middle of the season. You bring Frank Reich in, he can probably help with the knowledge and the execution of that, going to the different positions, being there, helping out.
What I like about the idea of Frank Reich is something that we played from the podcast on Tuesday with Nick Foles, was that they had to kind of reimagine their offense when Wentz went out and changed the Foles, and that Reich was on that staff that helped make those changes.
Yeah, I got that. Here's more from Nick Foles on the Season podcast.
Going back to 2017, Carson goes down. I play in the style of offense that was his style of offense, and it wasn't as comfortable for me, but I was able to run it through the end of the regular season and do decently well, not great. And then we got the bye week, and that's where we reconfigured the offense to my strengths, to what I did well, and then the playoffs hit, and because we did that, made the changes that we needed to do to put me in a position where I could go out there and play my best football, I was able to excel with my teammates on the field because I became more comfortable with running the plays we were running. It was plays within our system that we had to find and put out there, more so that maybe Carson didn't like the run, that I like the run.
I like that bite there, that Reich is open and willing to say, okay, this is what I do, this is what we did with Carson, what do you want to do? How can we help you get better? The problem is you needed to do that now. It had to happen on Black Saturday after that Black Friday drubbing. That's when you needed to make that call. It's a little late in the game now, but better late than never, I guess. If they don't look good offensively this week, you wonder what the panic button will look like inside the NovaCare complex. Sports Bash Live, 97.3 ESPN. Hey, coming up, we'll talk a little Sixers. Who's in, who's out tonight? What are the Sixers? They play the Warriors tonight. You can listen to that game on Rock 104.1. Adam Aronson from PhillyVoice.com at Sixers Adam is going to join us with a live report from the Xfinity Mobile Arena. He is there for tonight's Sixers Warriors tilt, and he's next right here on the Sports Bash.
This is the radio home for Philadelphia Eagles football. The Eagles continue the 2025 season on Monday Night Football, heading to L.A. to face the Chargers.
You want to say crunch time? This is it. Oh, yeah, this is crunch time.
Pre-game coverage starts at 7 p.m. with Merrill Reese and Mike Quick calling all the action starting at 8:15. This is where the Eagles play. 97.3 ESPN, South Jersey's Eagles station.
When hunger strikes without warning, one hero rises to satisfy your cravings. Royal Farms presents the world-famous Chicken Box. 4 golden pieces of legendary chicken, delicious Western fries, a warm, buttery biscuit, and all for just $10.
$10? All that?
Believe it. This is no snack. This is a Royal Farms meal forged in flavor and fried to perfection.
I didn't choose the chicken life. The chicken life chose me.
Royal Farms. Real fresh, real fast.
Right now at the Home Depot, shop Cyber Week savings and get up to 35% off, plus up to an extra $500 off select appliances like Samsung. Upgrade your kitchen with the Samsung Bespoke 4-door refrigerator, now featuring the dual auto ice maker with Sphere Ice, only at the Home Depot. You'll have perfectly chilled drinks for every gathering. Don't miss Cyber Week savings in-store and online at the Home Depot. Offer valid 12/4 through 12/10, U.S. only. See store online for details.
It's beginning to look a lot like Holidays on the House at DraftKings Casino. Celebrate the season with bright lights and big wins on all of your favorite casino games. Spin more than 1,000 slots, everything from the classics to exclusive new releases, and new players get 500 spins over 10 days on your choice of cash or option slots. Download the DraftKings Casino app and sign up with code DK973. That's DK973. Then choose from 10 different cash or option slots and let it spin. In partnership with DraftKings Casino, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Must be 21 or older, physically present in New Jersey. Eligibility restrictions apply. Non-withdrawable casino spins issued as 50 spins per day for 10 days. Valid for feature games only and expire each day after 24 hours. See terms at casino.draftkings.com/promos. Ends January 25th, 2026 at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time.
With Progressive, renters can save on protection for the things that make your place yours, even things that don't make sense to everyone.
People always wonder why I don't get rid of my guitar since I never play. But it's like, what if I actually end up taking lessons? Sure, I've had it for 8 years, but if I get rid of it, then what will my New Year's resolution be next January?
Exactly. So bundle your renters and auto and save with Progressive and protect the things that make sense to you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates and other insurers not available in all states or situations. Covered subject to policy terms and conditions.
Contact Tax Relief Helpers for details and restrictions.
Attention, anyone that owes money to the IRS. Every day, your unpaid tax debt gets bigger and bigger from daily interest. The longer you wait, the more you will end up paying. If you owe $10,000 or more, now is the time to settle your debt before the IRS takes aggressive action, like taking your wages or property. A special toll-free number has been established so you can stop penalty fees, avoid liens, levies, or other hostile measures by the IRS. Call Tax Relief Helpers right now.
I got behind on my taxes and owed $48,000. I called and they got my bill lowered to just $3,500.
I owed $87,000 in taxes, and it was scary. I got the amount I owed down to just $3,500. I saved $83,500.
If you owe money to the IRS, don't wait another day. Your tax debt gets bigger and bigger from daily interest. Call right now before the IRS enforces liens, levies, or other aggressive measures. The call and consult are absolutely free. Call now.
Call 800-354-5850. 800-354-5850. That's 800-354-5850.
This is the Town Square, New Jersey Info and Weather Network.
Progressive Insurance presents the Sports Flash on 97.3 ESPN.
Went off Ryan Ellis' skate and in, so Philadelphia cashes in twice with a man advantage, had the 2-1 lead. Kept into the line, flipped ahead. Bobby Brink gave it a Cates for the shot. Brink, he scores! Bobby Brink, less than 30 seconds later, on a rebound in front. It's 3-1 Flyers.
As heard on 97.3 ESPN, Tim Saunders with the call. Bobby Brink with the game winner. Flyers beating the Buffalo Sabres by a 5-2 score. Philadelphia's won 6 of their last 8 games. Travis Konecny and Trevor Zegras both scored on the power play. Philadelphia back on the ice Sunday hosting Colorado. The Avalanche have just 1 loss in regulation this season. Sixers in action tonight hosting Golden State. Philadelphia coming off a win over Washington Tuesday. They've gone 5-5 over their last 10 games. Sixers will be without Paul George. He's out with a knee injury. Joel Embiid is listed as questionable, while the Warriors are playing without Steph Curry. He's out with the quad injury. Eagles will face the Chargers in Los Angeles Monday night. Both teams 8-4 on the season. Eagles are on a 2-game losing skid. Defensive tackle Jalen Carter out for the game after undergoing a procedure on both of his shoulders.
Progressive is helping veterans drive their lives forward with its Keys to Progress program. Online at keystoprogress.com. I'm John Thayer on 97.3 ESPN.
It's RSV season. Is your baby protected? RSV is the #1 cause of hospitalization in all infants. Protect your baby from severe RSV with an immunization.
I think he's having trouble breathing.
A vaccine during pregnancy or preventive antibody is now available. Help prevent RSV before it happens. Learn more by visiting lung.org/RSV.
Furnished by the American Lung Association.
From the Town Square, New Jersey Info and Weather Network, I'm Chief Meteorologist Dan Zarrow. I'm telling you, get the heavy winter coat ready to go for tomorrow. It's going to be cold with a capital C. Tonight, we drop to 23 degrees. The breeze dies down. We'll see mainly clear skies. And for tomorrow, high of only 34 with lots of clouds, chance of snow showers, maybe a healthy coating on the ground. Saturday, mostly cloudy, high 41, 42 on Sunday. Get weather 24/7 wherever you are. Download our free mobile app today.
Are you ready to sell your home? Call Dave Beach. He makes sure his clients receive the very best in service. Dave Beach at RE/MAX Community is your trusted local expert. Fast closings, top offers, and service just like your family. 609-685-4942. Online at soldbydavebeach.com.
It's the Sports Bash with Mike Gill.
And I am the voice of the voiceless.
On 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
All right, Sixers tonight against the Warriors. You can listen on Rock 104.1. We got the Lions and Cowboys tonight on 97.3 ESPN. Sixers, Warriors. By the way, Pete, when we go to Super Bowl, Sixers will be in San Francisco. Did you look up the tickets?
Yeah, they're about a little over $100 a piece.
And tonight?
$12.
$12.
Get in price, $12.
Oh, man.
Well, Steph Curry's out.
Everybody,
you know that.
Yeah, Steph Curry's out. Who else is out? Let's find out. Adam Aronson covers the Sixers for PhillyVoice.com, at Sixers Adam on the Twitter X platform. He's at the Xfinity Mobile Arena getting ready for Sixers Warriors tonight. $12 get-in price for the game tonight because we have no idea who's playing. I'm sure the Sixers don't know yet. Adam, do you know who is in and who is out of the game tonight?
I could tell you many guys that are out. It's a little harder to tell you guys that are in. Steph Curry is out. Paul George is out. Kelly Oubre is out. Trendon Watford is out. Joel Embiid's still questionable, but it seems like he's going to play. Those are, I know, famous last words, but it appears the Sixers are splitting up Embiid and Paul George for this back-to-back. They're in Milwaukee tomorrow night. Seems like Embiid will play and George will sit tonight, and then the other way around tomorrow against the Bucks.
So do you like we were talking about this earlier because I kind of, been seeing that they're trying to split those guys up. Wouldn't you just want these guys to play together for the first time in like 2 years? It feels like, I get it, they played the other night, but don't you want those two guys to just start, the three guys really, to start playing together?
Yeah, absolutely. And when I and others ask those three guys that question, they all agree. It's not just about, I wrote about this recently at Philly Voice. The issue is not merely just manpower in terms of missing guys. The issue is also not having an inability to build continuity between them so that they can theoretically win at the highest levels if everything does break right for them with all the talent that they've amassed on the team. I understand the strategy. I understand trying to win games as much as you can in the short term. And I think splitting them up this way probably does give them a real chance to win both games, particularly because Giannis Antetokounmpo just hurt his calf. He's not going to be playing in Milwaukee against the Sixers tomorrow night. So I understand it. But again, at some point, you want to develop some sort of continuity within your roster. And that's one of the challenges that comes with, building a roster around three stars where two of them are two of the most injury-prone stars in the NBA.
Adam, what you've been around Embiid enough, I guess, to kind of get a feel of like what he's going through and like where he is, and like I'm not asking you to give me like a consistent schedule for him, but where do you think he is in terms of like reliability moving forward here? Is this just still going to be up in the air all around, or are they getting to the point where it's like, okay, if we have back-to-backs, he's not going to play. We only want him to play if he gets 2 days rest. Like, you expect him to play on Sunday. Where do you think he is in this whole thing? Are they on the same page, him and the team?
I think they are, and I think Joel probably has quite a bit of sway in the discussions about when he's going to play, because so much of it boils down to how he's feeling, and some of it is subjective. Like, some of it is about just how much pain exists in his knee, or how much he feels he can trust his knee, planting his left leg, or now with his right knee issue that he has, his right leg. So I think it makes sense that he has some level of sway in those discussions. In terms of reliability, there isn't any. That's just the harsh reality of the situation that the Sixers are in. We've all just seen the same story too many times, too many injuries, too many setbacks when it seems like things are finally starting to get on track. This is just the life of the Sixers at this point. Well, they do have to.
Not to cut you off here, but let's just say we're getting to a playoff situation. Like, is the anticipation that this is going to be up in the air then, or are they hoping that they are managing him to get to the playoffs where he can play like, you're going to play game 1, but not game 2, but maybe game 3, but is that the hope that they can get him to the playoffs to where he plays every night?
Yeah, I think the hope is that this is a very long ramp up to the middle of April and beyond, and that they can manage him carefully enough that, he can save his best for those moments. But at the same time, if he spends this 82-game season, never exceeding a specific minutes restriction, let's say so far he has never played even 2 games in 3 nights. As you said, he has at least 2 off days in between every appearance so far this season. In the playoffs, you're largely playing every other day, at least if you get past the first round. So that's stuff that's he's gonna have to get used to. And do you want him going through all of that for the first time once the playoffs have started? I don't think you do, but I'm not sure that there's a choice, because I don't know if the Sixers believe that he can handle that before the playoffs and then be healthy and available for it's not just about game 1 of the first round or the play-in tournament. It's about June and the second or third week of June. In theory, the playoffs last multiple months if you accomplish your goal there. So that's why, no matter what happens, there's going to be a great deal of skepticism here.
Not ideal. Adam Aronson's with us, covers the Sixers Philly Voice at Sixers Adams. Make sure you follow at Sixers Adam Clips too if you want to check out what he does there. Really good stuff. So what do you think of Embiid when he has played? I don't think it's any secret defensively, and on the boards he's been borderline terrible. But offensively, what he brings and what he adds for everybody else?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing offensively is there's just a sense of stability. There's some floor raising. It eases the workload of Tyrese Maxey, who is, shouldering a bigger workload than just about anybody in recent NBA history when you consider how often he has the ball, how many minutes he's playing, how many shots he's taking. I believe he still leads the NBA in the percentage of a team's points scored by one player over the course of the season. He's at least entering last game, he was over 40 minutes per game on the season. I think Embiid helps ease the workload on Maxey. I think there are times where in the non-Embiid games that they play, it seems like everybody is probably in a role that's that's asking a bit too much of them offensively, and I think he is able to knock everybody down a peg into roles that suit them better. But the defense and the rebounding, as you mentioned, have just been particularly brutal, and it's part of this process. And I think the Sixers think they have to play him through these minutes where the defense is suboptimal and the rebounding is suboptimal, and suboptimal is a kind way to phrase it, so that he can get to the other side of this and eventually move around better, and then he becomes a more valuable defensive player, because for almost his entire career he's been one of the single best defensive players in the NBA.
Yeah.
He's never been,
you get the sense that he's being extra cautious, that he just doesn't want to get tangled up in there, and that it's in him. He just is being really, really cautious, because that would be, I guess, positive. That sounds more positive than what we're watching.
Right. I don't think that his movement abilities are the same as they once were, certainly. So I don't want to sound like I think it's entirely intentional, but I do think there's definitely some sense of conserving energy / avoiding plays that might lead to injury, and things of that nature, because he knows that it's a long season, and he knows that the whole goal of, we'll call it the program that he's on right now, is to get him healthy for the playoffs and capable of producing in the playoffs. And he knows how long of a journey that would be on top of the 82-game season.
Adam, are we surprised with where Paul George is, or is this about where we think he should be? Is he getting close to being more normal? What is the take on what George is so far?
Yeah, I think he's trending upward, which is obviously always what you want to see. I think it took longer than I expected for him to get back on the floor. I thought it would be maybe the first 5 or 6 games of the year that he missed. It turned out, I think it was 12. He's still on a minutes limit. He's still not playing in both legs of back-to-backs. I think both of those things are to be expected. And I think he's looked better recently. I think he's looked a little more explosive off the dribble. Last year, I think the most concerning thing with him was not just that he missed half of the season. He played exactly 41 games, but also that he so rarely could create advantage off the dribble. I think he only had 1 30-plus point game last year. He didn't look like a 9-time All-Star at all. He didn't look like a star in any capacity. And he showed signs of that early on this year, and I think that's encouraging. Nick Nurse talks a ton about how valuable he thinks George is for them defensively. He seems to be a really good communicator, getting everybody organized. He defends multiple positions. Obviously, even if he's not on the ball offensively, he's a great shooter, and teams are going to respect him as such, and that creates space for guys like Maxey and Embiid if he's out there. So it's not what you want for a guy who's making as much money as him, and there's no way to claim that it is. And it's not worth trying to turn this into a wise per dollar investment that they've made. But they have a good player who's good at a lot of different things. Yeah. And in a similar way to Embiid, it's not as extreme of a situation, but they're trying to build him up so that he's at his best when the games matter the most. But they also have to get there. That was so much of their thinking last year was, we got to just get through the regular season and get to the other side. And then you look up and they're 3-14, and they had this horrible regular season that devolved into multiple months of tanking. So you do have to win regular season games.
Adam Aronson, PhillyVoice.com. The last guy, I was a big McCain guy. He got off to a slow return. He went down to the Blue Coats. Thought he looked pretty good for his second game in Delaware. Then he came up, didn't do anything, and that was perplexing. He said he kind of starting to feel like himself. And if that's the case, and this McCain is here, number one, do you see that he is starting to get the flow that we saw from him last year? And what could that do for this team?
Yeah, I do think that, and more importantly, McCain thinks that. I asked him after the last game. It seemed like it was the most success he's had getting by people off the dribble, and he's never been, even before he dealt with the injuries, he was never a particularly explosive athlete, anyways. And he said, and I quote, "I feel like I'm back to myself." And he's definitely getting there. There are bits and pieces of his game that I think have yet to reemerge, but are probably getting closer. I think one of the biggest impacts, I talked earlier about Maxi's crazy workload. Part of that has stemmed from the fact that the Sixers have really struggled to win or even tread water in the minutes where Maxi's on the bench, very similarly to the issue that they had with many years for Embiid. McCain is clearly the best possible solution to that. He's the closest thing this team has to a quality backup point guard. VJ Edgecombe and Quentin Grimes have sort of tag teamed that spot for much of the year, and at sometimes they've swung games in the Sixers' favor in those minutes, but it largely has not been very good. McCain being himself and helping keep them afloat when Maxey is off the bench will then allow them to put Maxey on the bench more often, which I think is going to be to Tyrese's long-term benefit.
All right, Sixers Warriors tonight. You can listen on our sister station, Rock 104.1. Follow Sixers Adam on Twitter. And, of course, read all of his stuff over at phillyvoice.com. And, of course, we appreciate him jumping on board here from the Xfinity Mobile Arena. We'll find out if Joel Embiid plays tonight. Follow at Sixers Adam. When the Sixers let that news out, he will have it for you. Thanks, Adam. Appreciate it, man.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we'll do it again. Really enjoy him on Twitter. You got to follow at Sixers Adam Clips if you want to see his video breakdowns. But all his writing coverage is over at phillyvoice.com. I'm Mike Gill. This is the Sports Bash Live. So the Embiid stuff, I thought it was interesting that he's just basically saying, hey, listen, Joel knows, they know that he's basically right now going to be terrible on defense. And they're almost trying to kind of like preserve him a little bit on the defense side, which is kind of what I've said. Just listen, anything Joel related, get back to me in March. Because I can't take anything that's going on now. I thought he looked pretty good on offense. I thought he's looked fluid at times on the offensive side of the ball. Defensively, he's been terrible. Doesn't want to rebound, doesn't want to mix in, doesn't want to bang, doesn't want to box out. And that's a hard way to win games, man, when you got a 7'2" man that doesn't want to help you out on the boards. Frustrating. Did you look at those ticket prices?
For Golden State?
Yeah, did you lock them in yet?
No. Got to wait a little bit more for that.
You think they're going to go down?
Hopefully.
Well, you got no Curry right now. This could be a low time.
Oh, you're talking about tonight's game?
No. The ones out there.
Oh, out there.
When the Super Bowl is in San Francisco this year,
yeah,
we'll be on Radio Row. Tuesday night, the Sixers play the Warriors. So for the listeners out there, we're going to go to the Sixer game. So on Wednesday, we'll have a full report for you.
I said
February the 3rd.
Going out to San Fran is like going to New York City and not seeing a Broadway show.
Did you see your boy Kyle Tucker, by the way, out in Dunedin?
I did see that. Getting a little tour of the Blue Jays facility.
Dunedin Brewery?
Yeah, hopefully he should.
The VFW getting a meatball sub?
Yes.
$3?
Hey, I think he could do a little better than that, but.
All right, coming up in the 5 o'clock hour, Casey Joyner, One Thought Every Game, and a whole heck of a lot more. On the Sports Bash, we're going to look at all the big games this weekend in the NFC, the NFL, this week 14 slate. That's coming up on the Sports Bash.
It's Sixers Warriors.
Tonight on Rock 104.1 with the voice of the Sixers, Tom McGinnis, calling all the exciting play-by-play action.
Here's Maxey on a drive. Maxey, 3 guys are there, banked it in. I dare you to stop me. I will not be denied. Tyrese Maxey.
It's Sixers basketball tonight. Coverage begins at 7 p.m. on South Jersey's classic rock station.
Are you kidding me?
Rock
Get your game on at the Fanatic Sportsbook in the gallery at Ocean Casino Resort. Go to Ocean Casino Resort. Go for the win. For more information, visit theoceanac.com.
It's the Sports Bash with Mike Gill.
Do I have everybody's attention now?
On 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
4:53, go where the players go right here at Chickies and Pete's. Watch the Eagles Monday night at the one and only official sports bar of the Philadelphia Eagles, Chickies and Pete's. For details and locations, we're at Tropicana, Atlantic City. Every Thursday, Sports Bash live on location. Tonight, Sixers and Warriors. So we'll update the poll question. Would you trade for Giannis Antetokounmpo, who, by the way, will not play tomorrow night when the Sixers play the Bucks? Sixers on the back-to-back again. How many back-to-backs is that for them, like 6?
Yeah, I think it is 6 or 7.
By the way, I enjoyed talking to Adam Aronson at Sixers Adam. We'll have to keep him in the rotation more. I'm surprised. Sixers fans, would you make a trade for Giannis? 51.9% no. 48% say yes. I mean, it's like 50-50. Would you make a trade for Giannis Antetokounmpo? Can you imagine saying that? You would not trade for Giannis?
I mean, if you put Giannis on this team and you subtract Paul George, VJ Edgecombe, basically just those two guys, right?
Paul George is essentially like, it's so weird. He signed, and it was like, well, he's got to be better than Tobias Harris, right? Like, and the one reason, like, Tobias Harris didn't stink was that he had that contract.
Right.
But now Paul George has the contract, and you're like, is he better than Tobias Harris?
He's just there. For me, he's just been there.
Yeah, he's made, essentially, last year he made no impact, and this year he just hasn't played at all. Like, I mean, he's played like 2, 3, 4, what's he played, 4 games? I mean, he's played okay, but, like, that contract will just loom over top of him. If he was making, like, what Barlow makes, you'd be like, yeah, he's a nice player. He makes what Harris made, and he's not producing at that level. All right, when we come back, big week in the NFL. Kind of a separation Sunday. We're going through it. One thought every game. Casey Joyner next.
South Jersey's official play-by-play home of the Eagles, Sixers, and Flyers.
At 0 point would I ever consider not being a fan of the team.
97.3 ESPN, WENJ, WENJ HD, Millville, Atlantic City. A Town Square media station serving all of South Jersey.
Five o'clock, Sports Bass Live, 97.3 ESPN. We're live at Chickies and Pete's, Atlantic City. Go where the players go. Of course, Chickies and Pete's. They'll have the Monday night game, and events are always better with Chickies. For your next party catered, have the Craft Fry Express food truck at your special event. Book now, chickiesandpete's.com for details and location. We got our Christmas party Friday night, PG, tomorrow night.
I will be there. I did RSVP finally.
Yeah?
Yep. Although it was too late. It was past the RSVP date.
It sounds like something you would do.
Yeah.
All right. Just one thought every game. Set to join us now on the Sports Bass Live, as we do each and every Thursday. We're running out of weeks. Now, are we at this part of the season, Casey, where we're excited that we're coming down the stretch, or that we're sad that we're running out of football?
Oh, well, let's put it this way. I mean, yeah, it's like the last presents under the tree. Which, you know, are you're glad that you're getting us the best presents usually, right? It's like you only have a couple of presents left, but they're the best ones. That's kind of how you got to look at it.
Well, once Thanksgiving comes and goes, that's when I start to get more sad than excited, because I know we're running. I don't like the Saturday games, all that. It's too much. Keep the Saturday games and let the college playoffs play on Sunday. I don't need those Saturdays. By the way, the Eagles are stuck on one of those Saturdays. But let's get into the Monday night game that the Eagles play the Chargers. First, let's start with the news that came down today of Jalen Carter out for the game. The impact that will have on this defense from all of the study that you have done on this Eagle defense.
Well, the thing is, I mean, you know, I use a lot of metrics and things, and if we're looking at, let's start with run defense. The Eagles are 20th in fantasy points allowed on planned rushing plays over the past 4 weeks. And we saw last week that, okay, Chicago knew how to do a lot of creative things. I think Chicago gave the league the blueprint for what to do against the Eagles defense to run the ball. Harbaugh knows a lot of those tricks. He's done a lot of them over the years, and now you're missing a top guy in the middle. I'm looking at it, and they might get a Murray and Hampton back. If you're getting Hampton back, and you've got Vidal, and you've got a lot of people who can run the ball. I'm looking, and plus, you've got an injured Justin Herbert. If I'm the Eagles, I'm spending every minute I can trying to figure out how to stop their ground game, because right now Jim Harbaugh's looking and saying, I'm going to run the ball 40 times against these guys.
Yeah, I mean, you lose Jalen Carter. We saw them against Dallas in the opener. We saw them against the Giants. Neither one of those games were their best efforts, and they have not stopped the run well the last 2 weeks. So you wonder, is there something they can do to kind of compensate for Carter? And it seems that the answer is probably not.
Yeah, you can't do it from a personnel perspective. I mean, what you can do, there's disruptors and there's space heaters on the defensive line. He could do both, but if you got a space heater, you normally get a space. You can get a guy to be a space heater. If he's just big enough and you put him in the right place, you could say, hey, instead, coaches will say, hey, I'm going to move a guy from being a one technique to 2 It's just a shift on the line. You move him into places to where it makes the offense have to double team block you. There's certain things you could do. So you could take up his space eater stuff. That's fine. You can do that. The disruptor stuff, it's a lot different. You can move people around and things, but to a certain extent, being a disruptor is all just about physical talent. And so maybe you have to say, when we're stopping the run, we're not going to be able to do those things, so we have to do other things. And it may be a lot of just saying, hey, we're going to accept that they're going to get 4 and 5 yard runs. We're going to accept that. But they kind of did that against Chicago, and Chicago started turning those 4 and 5 runs into a lot bigger runs. So the Eagles they got quite the problem.
All right, so let's look at the Eagles' defense in this game here against the Chargers. Obviously, you don't have Jalen Carter, but the 2 tackles for the Chargers have been a problem for them all year. They have one of the worst pass block win rates in football, this offensive line. Should the Eagles be able to get pressure if the Chargers decide to pass?
They should. I mean, the Chargers allowed 11 sacks over the past 3 games and only getting blitzed 20% of the time. 20% is a really low number. It's near the bottom of the league as far as that percentage. They should be able to get some pass rush. The thing is are the Chargers going to throw the types of passes that let you do that? That's part of the reason it's going to be really, really, really important to stop those first down gains. Because let's say the Chargers get 4 yards on first down, 2nd and 6. Okay, you still got it's a pass run down, and can you just pin your ears back and get after the quarterback? Not really, and they can just throw dink and dunk passes up. But fine, we can just we can put together route combinations that we're just going to throw to the short guy and things. So maybe for the Eagles, you might have to say, we're going to take away your short route combinations. If you're running, say, what they call a high-low. If you're running a high-low combination, a lot of times you could try and stop the high. Maybe you're going to have to say, you know what, we're going to try and make you throw that high pass because we want Herbert dropping back there. We want to be able to get our pass rush after him. Because if he just throws dink and duck passes, you got a problem because that solves their pass rush problem.
All right, so when Philadelphia faces the pass, you got Keenan Allen, obviously a veteran, crafty. You got Ladd McConkey with 1,100 yards when lined up in the slot since entering the league. That slot guy there against Cooper DeJean, you would think that's a good matchup for Philly, but what do you think of the other two?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, DeJean over the past 4 weeks, he's allowed 11.9 yards per target. That's really, really bad. You want to be below 6, and mind you, last 4 games, Jackson's at 6'5", Mitchell's at 3'6", so that would be your spot if he's covering the slot, the person you want to go after. Thing is, Allen hasn't played nearly as well. He's been doing a lot of dink and dunk passes. Quentin Johnston has been fantasy manager pulled their hair out of the guy because he was big earlier this year and he's done nothing since. So if I'm them, I'm still trying to stop McConkey more than anybody else because he's still, even though he hasn't put up as big a numbers yet, he's the guy I want to stop and really, again, try and give some help to the slot. But I really want to stop McConkey and say, if you can funnel it to this direction, there are things we can do to try to stop that. Because if you throw it to the slot, you're throwing it over in the middle, and now you might be able to get some picks that you can't if you're going to the outside.
All right, let's look at the Eagle offense, which has been abysmal the last couple of weeks and really all season long here. This Charger defense is pretty good. This doesn't feel like the kind of game that you get right on, but you can run the ball on the Chargers. But Philadelphia has struggled to run the ball. Is that the way you would attack them if you're Philadelphia?
Yeah, it's who you are. It's your identity. I mean, you're a run team, so you got to stick with your identity. You really can't get away from that. And they've got some good corners. Chargers are 22nd in planned rush plays. Rush points allowed on planned rush plays for the past 4 weeks. That's easy for me to say. That's what they're not very good at that. What you don't want to do against them is throw vertical passes. Over the last 4 weeks, the Chargers on fantasy points per game, this is an amazing number, they've allowed minus 0.07 points because they have 3 interceptions. They've done so well. They only had 19 vertical pass targets, allowed 8 completions, 145 yards, 0 touchdowns, 3 picks. You can't throw the ball deep against these guys, or at least nobody has been successful the past 4 games. So I think of the Eagles, it's short passes and it's the running game because this vertical pass, this deep vertical game, I mean, the Eagles usually don't do well with that anyway. You need to threaten it to keep them up in safety side of the box, but you don't try and throw it because that's not where you can beat the Chargers.
Interesting, because A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts, since becoming teammates in 2022, connected on 15 touchdown passes of 20 yards or more downfield. You're saying probably not this week.
I'm saying it's not the percentage move that other teams have not been able to do it and things, that the Chargers are just not giving up the vertical passes. Mind you, if you start looking at the Chargers' other metrics, they're not very good against tight ends. They're just below average against tight ends. Cam Hart is allowing 7.9 yards per target. Dante Jackson, 7.5. Those are solid numbers, but if you're an offensive coordinator, you're not avoiding that at all. Cam Hart's allowing 72% completion rate his last 3 games. I mean, these are guys that you can throw to, but you just can't throw it deep, and I think that's what it is. Jesse Minder's going to say, look, we'll let you run some. We're not going to let you get breakaway runs. We're not going to let you get big plays. It's like the Chargers in a lot of ways are going to be a mirror image of what the Eagles are. We're going to run the ball. We're not going to let you get big plays in the passing game. You might be able to run against us, but as long as we can keep that run game in check, we're in good shape. So the key to this game might be which of these teams can keep the run game in check, because last week Eagles couldn't do it and they lost. If they can do it this week, it might be a way to put it.
All right, one thought every game. Let's get into that as we take a look at the schedule. Very interesting schedule this week, which starts tonight on 97.3 ESPN. The Cowboys and the Lions. It's like an elimination game for both these teams. I mean, both teams lose. I guess if Philly lost, that would keep the Cowboys somewhat involved in the East there. But both these teams need a win. The Lions feel like they are fading while the Cowboys are coming.
Yeah, they do. The Lions do feel like that they're not doing very well, and the Cowboys. Again, can you get into shootout games with the Cowboys? That's the big thing about the Cowboys is the Cowboys are 6-2-1 when they score 24 or more points. The Lions are 3-4 when they give up more than 24 points. I think it's going to make the Lions have to be more aggressive. They've got the problem they might not have Amon-Ra St. Brown tonight, so that's an issue, but they still have a lot of talent in this offense. I think they're going to be super aggressive, and they're one of the few teams to where usually Dallas tries to get in a shootout mode, the other team can't keep up. I think the Lions can, so I'm going to pick the Lions to win, but close.
All right, one thought. Every game, Seahawks and Falcons. Obviously, this is a big one for Seattle. They're in the division mix. They are currently in the wild card, and Atlanta, with a loss, would pretty much be done.
Yeah, they would be. And Atlanta, I mean, Atlanta's got more talent than they're playing below the talent level. That's the frustrating part of them. Seattle might be the best team in the league right now. But when I did my metric review for my article I read at The Athletic, my confidence picks article I read at The Athletic, where people can find everything we're talking about plus more, Atlanta fared well in a lot of these categories, and they weren't very far behind of the ones they didn't win. They can pass rush the ball well, so that's a big thing for them. It's also an early afternoon East Coast kickoff. I don't like that for Seattle, so I'm picking Seattle to win for a lot of reasons, but I think it's going to be a lot closer than people think.
All right, like Seattle in that one. One thought every game. Let's go to the Bengals and the Bills. Bengals are like on the peripheral of kind of being in this thing. 4-8. They would really need to run the table here. Buffalo, oddly enough, they're 2 back in the division, but they are in that weird wild card. They need this game.
They do. And I was surprised by this one as well. Buffalo, when I ran the article, it was only a 5.5 point favorite. Buffalo was 5.5 home favorite. So it's like, wow, these teams are that close. I started looking at the numbers going, yeah, they really are. Like Cincinnati is equal to or maybe even a little bit better than Buffalo overall. Cincinnati has by far the better passing game. That's even if T. Higgins doesn't play, and it looks like he's going to play. Bills have a great rush attack. They can't stop the run. They've got better pass coverage, but Cincinnati has better special teams, and they're healthier. So I'm picking Buffalo to win, but I will not be the least bit surprised if Cincinnati pulls the upset.
All right, one thought every game. Let's go to Titans and Browns. Obviously, these two teams are completely out of it. Really nothing to play for except for they probably want to lose.
Yeah, you would think so. I think, though, Stefanski's a guy who I think either team would be like that. But Stefanski, with what they've got with Shedeur Sanders, if he can show enough there, they're going to stick with him and say, hey, we understand you're a better coach than what is happening here. And Tennessee's already fired their coach. They have to do over anyway. I like that for them. The Browns have an overwhelming advantage in pass defense to the home team. And Sanders, Franco's looking a little more comfortable under center, and I like him for that reason. I like the Browns for that reason and more.
That's not good when you like a 5th-round pick better than the first overall pick. By the way, the 21-day practice window has been opened on Deshaun Watson for Cleveland. Just throw that out there. All right, one thought every game, Commanders and Vikings. Both these teams are kind of out of it, but the Commanders can play spoiler in this NFC mix. And if they get this win, could propel them when they play Philly twice and Dallas still.
It could, and mind you, Washington's got. I like what we're going on offense. They got some pluses on offense, but man, they've got their defense is it's dismal. In fact, I wrote an article for The Athletic this week that told people I know Justin Jefferson, fantasy managers, and we had a terrible game last week. You want to start him this week. This is a matchup. Don't think of benching if he's had a bad year, but get him into lineups. You will be glad you did. Vikings obviously been atrocious, but now you get McCarthy back. Great defense, or a terrible defense they're facing. Washington's the better team, but I'm taking Minnesota by just a tiny little bit, partially because of the home team.
All right, one thought every game. This one doesn't sound interesting, but Miami plays the Jets here. If Miami wins, that would be 4 in a row. They would be 6-7, and I guess they would be in the wild card mix. The Jets here, they won last week, but just kind of playing out the string.
Funny thing is that the Dolphins won 4 of their last 5. The Jets have won 3 of their last 5, so they're playing better. The Dolphins are playing better than the Jets, and mind you, again, they've got the wild card. I don't think the Jets have any chance of getting in there, but I'm looking at going, Miami's got a solid advantage in many offensive metrics. They got better rush defense. New York's got better coverage and a big special teams edge. That special teams edge is part of what makes me not be able to be really heavy on the Dolphins. I'm taking the win, but I think it's going to be really close.
All right, one thought every game. Let's go to Saints and Bucks. Bucks need this. They are in first place, but they are hanging on by a thread in the South. Carolina's coming, but it's nice to have the Saints on your schedule.
It is, and Tyler Shuck is playing better than everybody thought he would, and he set a higher floor than people thought, but the Saints haven't scored more than 17 points since Week 6. I mean, Tampa's offense is getting better every week as they get their injured players back, so I think they're going to win. I think they'll win pretty handily and probably cover, too.
All right, one thought every game. We'll go to a big one, Colts and Jags. First place in the South on the line here. Feels like the Colts are fading and the Jags are coming.
It does, and mind you, remember the Colts, how many horror, there's been a house of horrors going to Jacksonville. That's not not a good place for them to play. They haven't won there since 2014. It's a bad situation for Indianapolis to go there. It's not a town they like to visit. SU's not trending to be any exception. The Jags have huge stat advantages in run defense and special teams. I don't understand why the Jaguars are a home dog. They should be the favorite in this one. I'm picking them to win.
One thought every game. Two teams in the North tied for first, Steelers and Ravens. You can listen to this game, by the way, on 97.3 ESPN. Obviously the Steelers have been just holding on here, and now they are tied.
They have been, and I think last week might have been the lowest point of my Commons Pittsburgh tenure. It could get even lower. The Steelers couldn't throw the ball, stop the run, or run the ball. Versus tough Buffalo defense. Baltimore's defense is every bit as good. I think Derrick Henry can beat King Henry this week. I think the Ravens are going to win handily, and that nadir that was last week, I think it's going to get even worse for Tomlin. He might be headed to his first losing season.
Wow, and by the way, Ravens are a 6-point favorite in the game. One thought every game. Broncos and Raiders, look, the Broncos, they just keep on rolling here. And if they win this, they would get to 11-2. That would be 10 straight wins, and they would essentially have a massive hold on the AFC West.
Yeah, they would. And it's funny that they're only 7.5-point favorite because, and I get they're on the road and things, but still, 7.5-point favorite. And the Raiders, the Raiders are dismal. There wasn't a stat advantage the Raiders have. Looked at all the stat advantages. Wasn't a single one. This is just an overwhelming game for the Broncos. Raiders used to have a jinx against them, and that was part of it. Wow, Broncos always do bad against the Raiders. Denver's won 3 straight in this series. I think they're going to make it 4, and I think handle it. I think they're going to win by double digits.
Remember, the Eagles play the Raiders next week, so keep an eye on that one. One thought every game, another good one here. This game will be on 97.3 ESPN. Bears and Packers for first place, really, in the NFC North here. And many people, Bears are a 6.5-point dog for the second week in a row here. They're the team in first place.
Don't understand it. And the Bears defense played exceptionally well against last week. And again, in fact, I wrote in my article here that the Bears defense plays exceptionally well against the Eagles offense that lacks creativity. Matt LaFleur's offense doesn't lack creativity, so I think they're going to have. I think their defense is going to have some problems. The Packers are a much better defense too. I think they're doing a very good job defensively. Very solid metrics across the board. You don't see any real major weaknesses, so that's a big plus for them. They're at home, so I'm going to pick them there, but. After what Chicago did last week, I think, again, they're going to – I don't know why it's 6.5. I think Chicago should be closer than that. So I think Green Bay wins, but by less than the point spread.
All right, one thought every game. Let's go to the Rams and the Cardinals. Rams, they got upset last week. They got clipped on the road. They're going on the road here again. Can they get clipped 2 weeks in a row? They're a 7.5-point favorite here.
When I looked at all the metrics, the Rams had a nearly across-the-board edge in the metric review. Problem makes me hesitate about them is last weekend's game, they go play Carolina and they lose. It makes me hesitate a bit, but not by that much because, frankly, the Rams lost to turnover about 0-3. Matthew Stafford doesn't turn the ball over that much all season, and he does that in one game. I don't think that happens 2 weeks in a row. I'm taking the Rams to win big.
One thought every game. Casey Joyner from The Athletic. Sunday Night Football. You can listen to this game on 97.3 ESPN. Texans and Chiefs. All right, this one is the eliminator, right? If the Chiefs lose this game or they're done, we keep saying that every single week. But the Texans have a shot for the division here, and they are in play for the AFC South if they win this game.
Yeah, and the funny thing is the betting public is stubborn when it comes to the Chiefs. No matter what they do, people still think that they're the favorite. And I'm like, I don't understand this. Houston's a really good team. In this case, though, I like Houston because they get a very strong pass rush and they're healthier, but the Chiefs are the home team, and it's still Mahomes versus Stroud, and Mahomes is still still the better quarterback. And because they're at home and because they have him, and I think it's really close, and look at the metrics, I'm going to take the Chiefs to win, but I think it's going to be really, really close.
All right, one thought every game. We bring it back to Monday Night Football. It's the Eagles and the Chargers. You can listen to the game right here on 97.3 ESPN. Right now, the DraftKings Sportsbook has the Eagles as a 3-point favorite. This opened at 1.5, so the people like the Eagles here. Over under 40.5. These two offenses really struggling with offensive line injuries. But what's the matchup in this game that will tilt it one way or the other?
It's Jesse Minter. But actually, it's two things. I've got to say it's two because Harbaugh being able to mimic what the Bears did last week, that's a scary thing. Ray Hampton coming back could be a scary thing, make their run game even better. but Jesse Minter versus the Eagles offense. Jesse Minter might be the best defensive coordinator in the league. It's him or Shula. They're right up there. I mean, Vic Fangio is really good too. Do not get me wrong, but Minter's doing a fantastic job. And I think about the Eagles, and they've done some things well the past couple weeks, but Minter's a guy who could just shut you down. So I'm looking at that going, wow, they're on the road. I'm just seeing too many factors going against the Eagles. Got to take the Chargers in this one.
Likes the Chargers in this one. And, of course, Casey Joyner from The Athletic. You could check him out. You doing any live stuff for the game tonight?
Yes, doing a live chat on. We've got a Discord channel at The Athletic. You can just check it out on our site. You just look up The Athletic Discord chat, and it's fantasy football centric. People ask a ton of other questions too. It starts at 6 o'clock, and I go all the way up to kickoff and things. We talk about all kinds of things in there. So stop by if you want to have some fun.
Everybody check that out at KC Joyner TFS on the Twitter X platform. And, of course, One Thought Every Game is back on Tuesday. We'll look back at all these games that we just talked about here and see how they all played out. Thanks, man.
Appreciate it.
Casey Joyner, everybody, from The Athletic here on the Sports Pass Live. I'll bring my friends back in here and kind of look at the game that you're most interested in this week. Besides, it's got to be the game tonight, right? You guys, Texans, Cowboys. You got Texans, Cowboys. You got Lions, Cowboys, Texans, Chiefs, Steelers, Ravens, Colts, Jags. That's 5 games right there for the Friday 5, possibly. There's a lot of Bears, Packers. It's going to be a good Friday 5 this week there, Josh.
Listen, I'm just looking forward to whenever you don't say it's a horrible week in the NFL.
No, this is a good one.
More often than not.
This is a good one. This one has choices for us. This is the one where we finally have a bunch of games that are all meaningful. They all have, and almost every game. The only one that doesn't is that Browns. Who was it? Browns who?
Browns and
Titans.
That's the worst game of the season. But every game almost has some sort of playoff, even if it's Rams, Cardinals. Like the Rams lost to Carolina last week. Now they play the Cardinals. You can't afford to lose 2 games in a row like this. You just can't do it. So there's a lot of meaning in all the games this week. Mostly all the games have either one team needs it for playoff positioning.
Yeah, there's only 2 games where it doesn't matter.
The Jets and the Dolphins. Although that Dolphins team wins.
They are mathematically still involved.
Yeah, that guy's saving his job down there, McDaniel.
Everybody ripped that poor guy.
He's really been saving his job. They fired the GM.
If the Dolphins wins, that gets them to 6-7.
Yep.
Let's say the Eagles win. The Chargers would fall to 8-5. If the Colts lose, they would be 8-5. If the Bills play the Bengals and they lose, the Bills fall to 8-5. So all 3 of those wild card teams would then be 8-5, and that would have the Dolphins at 6-7. They would be 2 games back with 4 to play.
And then the Steelers play the Ravens, so the winner of that game would be 7-6.
Right. So if let's say the Steelers lose to the Ravens, they would be 6-7.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say who wins, the Texans or the Chiefs?
Yeah, that's a tough game.
I mean, that's a coin flip game. Really.
Yeah. At Arrowhead, I would go with the Chiefs, so they would be 7-6.
So
would Houston.
Right. If the Chiefs win, they go to 7-6. Houston would be 7-6, and the Dolphins would be 1 game behind them. So they would be within 2 games with 4 left to go, and Miami's final 4 would be the Jets, the Steelers, the Bengals. They play the Jets this week. Steelers, Bengals, Tampa, and then New England. And New England, there's a good chance that they could be, I don't know, they could be playing they could be resting, but they could be playing for the 1 seed. But that Miami story is kind of interesting. So even that game this week is very, interesting.
CC very intrigued?
I think it's one of the better schedules. The Tennessee-Cleveland game is a nothing burger. And other than that, there's not really another game where there's both teams that just have nothing.
Next week, if you look ahead to next week, that's Chargers, Chiefs, Bills, Patriots.
I'm not ready to go there yet.
You're not ready to go there.
No.
You will be, though.
Well, we'll see what the results look like this week. Casey Joyner's back on Tuesday with One Thought Every Game. All right, when we come back, poll question. I want to get back into that conversation a little bit because I just saw they're playing some stuff on the screen here with Giannis and what's going on and that team and all that stuff. Sixers fans, would you be interested in trading for Giannis? I saw a trade posted of what the Sixers might have to give up. Now, Pete said he would. Josh says he wouldn't. What would you guys do? 609 403 0973. Should the Sixers target Giannis Antetokounmpo, or is that are they just not at the right spot right now with where they are? More Sports Bash coming up next. 97.3 ESPN.
You're listening to the Sports Bash with Mike Gill.
When I'm driving, I got a guy on the radio who talks to me. I can't see him, but he talks to me.
On 97.3 ESPN.
At 5:31, Sports Bash Live, 97.3 ESPN here at Chickies and Pete's in Atlantic City. Go where the players go, right here, your official home of the Philadelphia Eagles. Monday Night Football will be on right here. And, of course, tonight, Thursday Night Football. Looking for a spot to watch the game, Cowboys and the Texans. And you got the Sixer game going on at the same time as well. So I want to get into this Giannis stuff. Because now it's starting to really grow, right, guys? It's starting to be like Giannis is going to get traded, or they're. What's the official way they're kind of talking about this? Like, Giannis is.
Well, the Shams report basically made it sound like that Giannis, his agent, and the Bucks are having conversations about his future,
right?
Which basically implies that Giannis at some point will not be a buck, I should say, and. The other report that came out, was it Chris Haynes, I believe it was, that Chris Haynes basically said that Milwaukee is already getting calls about when Giannis would be available. Now, that was all before he went and did whatever he did to his calf last night.
So the injury to the calf is going to keep him out multiple weeks here.
2 to 3 weeks was the report that I saw.
That's going to, I would imagine, cool off people wanting to make a call, unless you want to take not pennies on the dollar. But so would anybody be interested in a trade? Let's just say, would you be interested in Giannis Antetokounmpo to bring him with the Sixers? He's 30 years old. He's got some injury issues now. He's starting to have the injury issues.
Right. That would be ideally to pair him with Tyrese Maxey.
Right.
So Maxey would not be part of this.
So you're not looking at,
trade.
and depending on Joel, you are saying it's a Maxey Antetokounmpo. That's your duo.
Yep. Now
you would trade Paul George,
right? Because PG is a max guy, so you have to match salaries,
right? And then whatever Embiid gives you, he gives you. But it's a Maxey and Giannis. That is your duo. Are you interested in that at all?
Listen, I'm a huge Giannis fan. I've always been a huge Giannis guy. I'm so happy with the success that he's had in his career, especially with his background, with his family and everything. But I'm not giving up major assets for a guy whose health is a question mark right now. I already got 2 of those guys on my team.
All right, so you're a no.
That's fair.
What if it was just, hey, now they're not just going to take Paul George just for to be friendly. They're going to want draft picks. But what if I said Edgecombe was not involved, which I couldn't imagine that being the case. But what if it was Jared McCain?
Then I'm much more open to it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Because the thing with McCain is he's a nice
funny,
guy.
I'm the other way. I'm actually more interested, not that I don't like Edgecombe. I feel like Edgecombe kind of flashed and he caught everybody early. That makes when you like your first impression is, wow, this guy, and I'm not dogging him at all. Like, I like Edgecombe, but I don't see him as like this.
You have Michael Carter Williams-itis right now. You're so tainted by what happened with MCW.
Are you looking at Charlotte and seeing what Con Knippel is doing? He's having a great start to the year.
Well, it's funny. I saw somebody ranking the top 5 rookies already, and I don't think Edgecombe was in the top 5. So he had this flash, and he's been good. But I don't feel like he's making these big impacts on games.
Yeah, but the problem is that I would just say that first of all,
it sounds like I'm dogging him, but that's not what I'm trying to say.
You kind of are dogging him a little bit. I think you're overlooking the fact that, one, he did miss a couple games because he was injured. So I'm going to be like, if we're not going to bash Embiid and George for being injured, we can't bash the young guy for being injured. And then number 2.
I think we bash Embiid and George pretty much daily for being not available.
Okay, well, you don't, is what I'm saying. You don't bash them. So,
I've talked about how ridiculous this whole situation is.
The situation is you're not holding it against them, is what I'm saying.
Well, I don't hold it against anybody for being injured. I mean, I'm not going to blame you for tearing your ACL. There's nothing they can do about that.
I think, again, my point
I'm not saying that, and forget Edgecombe being hurt. He had 2 or 3 really good games to start the season.
Right.
And since then, I think teams have kind of said, all right, buddy, you're not doing that against us. He was never supposed to be a great shooter. I think he has exceeded those expectations early on, and I think his shooting has kind of caught back up a little bit. He's not going to be, or he's not supposed to be, a great three-point shooter. I think what he is a He is an uberly athletic. He is going to make a dunk one night where you're like, holy bleep, did he just do that? I think he plays with high energy. I love what the kid brings to the table. I'm not suggesting that. My point is I think that McCain complements Maxey better than Edgecombe might. That's all. Because McCain, to me, is a better pure shooter than Edgecombe is.
I hear what you're saying, but to me, what I love about Edgecombe is what he does on the other end of the floor. It's the guy who gets the steals. It's the guy who gets the extra rebounds. Edgecombe at that one game was the last game 40 had 6 assists in the game. Like, he does the other dirty stuff that I think is actually more valuable than just shooting in today's NBA, because you see teams like Oklahoma City. Why do they win an NBA championship? Why do the Nuggets win a championship? Because they have other guys who could do other things than just shoot.
I listen, I agree with that. He's a better defensive player. He's bigger. He's more physical. He can rebound. And that is valuable to what the Sixers
what they're trying to build.
What they don't do well. They don't rebound well. And by the way, even with Edgecombe, they're not a very good rebounding team. So you take him off the team, yes, that would make them worse. I'm just looking at how am I putting a team together. I got Maxey as the ball handler. I got McCain. Those two guys can be interchangeable. They can both be the ball handler and play off the ball. You got Maxey who can cut and get to the basket almost at will, but if he can't, there's a kick out, and McCain is a better shooter. Yes, I agree that you would give up something on the defensive end. Okay, I have to sacrifice one or the other. I said I'm picking McCain slightly. That doesn't even mean that he's a better player than Edgecombe. I just think he's a better fit for what this team would do if I had to pick one over the other. That's all.
Listen, I'm not against trading for Giannis. I just don't want to give up a guy. Listen, maybe it's the Philly fan in me. I've seen too many guys get traded away before their prime and then them come back and kill my team. Maybe that's my fault. Maybe I don't have enough objectivity. When I see a young guy with potential, I
guess the question I would ask is, and I was wrong about Maxey on this, and listen, I still don't know that Maxey, and that's why I'm interested in Giannis, because I don't know that Maxey is the best player on the best team. Like, is he a true number one? You win because you have Maxey. I still look at this team as about a 500 team if Maxey's your best player. I think they need someone else. And that's what Joel was supposed to be. All right, we got the MVP, and now Maxey's that second guy, but the second guy who could score 30.
So who would be the perfect player to pair Tyrese Maxey with?
Joel Embiid.
Joel Embiid from 3 years ago?
I have a completely different player in mind when you said that.
If you had this year's version of Maxey and the MVP version of Embiid, that would be a pretty damn good pairing. Who's your guy?
Listen, if I could wave a magic wand and get whoever I want, give me Luka next to Maxey.
I don't know about that. Luka is a very ball-dominant player.
But Maxey can play off a ball-dominant player.
Well, that would limit some of the success that Maxey's having right now. One of the reasons why he's the guy that you're seeing is because he has the ball in his hand like 97% of the time.
Yeah, but also in today's NBA, you need multiple ball handlers on the court at the same time.
You do, but I think those two guys are so ball-dominant that they would lessen each other's effectiveness.
Impact?
Yeah. I mean, if I'm Luka and I have to defer to Maxey wouldn't be the Maxey as we know if he's got Luka playing next to him. I think that's why I like McCain, because I think Maxey is such a ball-dominant guy. He's so quick and so fast. He can get to the rim with almost ease. But when teams double him, if you're going to double him, he needs a guy that the other guy can knock down stuff, and you can't double him because that guy is going to kill you. That's what they kind of, I think, would be best at. That's why I like McCain slightly better than I like Edgecombe, because I just don't think Edgecombe has this shot where it's so it looks like someone had worked with him and taught him this, and he's like thinking about it as he does it. So he's very slow and mechanical with the shot. Now, he's made threes at a much higher clip than people thought, but I think a lot of this is people don't really look at him as a three-point shooter. They're like, go ahead and shoot it if you want. And he's really taking his time and form. Does anybody else see that?
I mean, he does overthink it sometimes. I think that's why he pulls it to the left sometimes, because he's kind of pushing the ball instead of shooting the ball. I totally understand that.
So I don't think that him being a great shooter, big picture, is in the cards. I think he's more of an athletic scorer.
But you need
dunker.
athletic scorers.
Oh, I'm not disagreeing with that. I mean, listen,
to me,
I got to give to get.
To me, if your starting lineup, just to throw it out there, was Maxey, Grimes, Edgecombe, Giannis, and then whoever went to 5, then I think that you are really dangerous.
Say that again, Maxey,
Grimes, Edgecombe, Giannis.
Maxey, Grimes, Edgecombe.
Is Embiid in this picture?
Well, I'm saying whoever you want at number 5. I mean, it's.
See, the problem with that I have is, and this is where, again, trading McCain away, you bring in Giannis, he is not a great shooter. So now you're downgrading your shooting even more.
And that's the danger about the Paul George thing, because Paul George has actually been shooting pretty well since he came back from injury. So you could argue that George is actually, I hate even saying it, is George almost more valuable than some of the other guys on the team?
Well, yeah, I mean, listen, Paul George doesn't suck. I mean, I know people think he does because of the contract.
No, but you talked about the shooting and the spacing of the floor and giving Maxey a guy to pass to.
They don't have many shooters on the floor.
Well,
aside from Maxey, obviously.
You got Maxey's at 38. You got Grimes at 37. You've got Oubre not being here. I think Oubre, and he's not a great three-point shooter. He's very erratic. VJ's 36. George is 35. Watford's actually 39% from 3. McCain is 37. So he's the next best three-point shooter on the team, and he got off to a terrible start. Now he's up to 37. So if you had Maxey and McCain, and then you had like Oubre and Giannis, I think there would be some semblance of some three-point shooting. But then you would have Giannis, and that would be just
would you
30 a night.
Would you be opposed of getting involved in a Giannis trade with a Paul George salary?
Sure.
And getting another player in here.
Well, I think at the end of the day,
if you're telling me I'm getting rid of Paul George,
okay.
For Giannis though, I'm not talking about just getting rid of Paul George to give me back 2 lousy contracts just to match the salary.
Well, that's why the conversation you and I had earlier today, Mike, was about how one of my concerns with Milwaukee is going to be, I don't know if they're going to get the value they want for Giannis.
Well, you heard, we played the clip from Canty earlier, and he said the Knicks don't have the value that they are going to want either, and they're not going to give up OG Anunoby. I mean, you talked about Mikal Bridges. Mikal Bridges, excuse me.
Sorry.
That's not enough. I mean, if you're the Bucks, you can't get Mikal Bridges back in return.
Can you get Mikal Bridges and Miles Bridges?
I mean, is that where they might be stuck, though? Can Giannis just dictate New York? And say,
that's the thing. I
there?
don't know. This just all started to come out yesterday. How far is it? How insistent is Giannis of where he wants to go? How much are they willing to kind of work with him? Not even that the Sixers are even involved right now, but you would think Daryl Morey, if he's hearing that Giannis Antetokounmpo, he's like Howie Roseman. He's calling. He's no stone unturned here. You would think he at least makes the call and say, hey, guys, you interested in Paul, and we can throw in either Jared or VJ. We have picks.
Well, that goes back to what Bobby Marks told you, Mike, months ago. We had Bobby Marks on, and Bobby told you, he says, nobody's calling Daryl Morey. Daryl Morey's always calling you. He's like, you never have to worry about calling Daryl Morey.
Right. So I would think if Giannis is available, Morey's calling.
I think 15, 16, 17 other teams are calling too, right?
But how 15, 16, 17 other teams do they have? The Sixers are in an interesting spot where they have 2 young guards, Maxey and Edgecombe. Not Maxey, McCain and Edgecombe.
McCain, yeah.
They do have Max, who's a young guard, too. They're not trading him, obviously. But they have Edgecombe and McCain. So those are 2 guys that I think have some value. Probably Edgecombe more value than McCain because he's newer and flashier right now. But I actually think McCain's the better fit for this team. Doesn't mean he's the better player. That's not what I'm saying. I just think for this team, he would be the better fit alongside Maxey. They have some draft capital because they have that Clippers pick.
2028.
That's down the road, right. Now the Clippers are disastrous right now. So that Clippers pick has a lot of value. Now, would you be willing to give up future first if you've got Giannis? Because now your mindset becomes, we turn into a championship level team.
Yeah.
If you got
I
a
would do
healthy
that.
Giannis Antetokounmpo, even without Embiid, do you think you're an NBA title contender?
This year, no, I don't think so.
In this East?
That's true.
I'll tell you the team
That's
to watch
actually
out
true.
for. Tell you the team to watch out for.
Don't tell me OKC because they've lost one time.
I thought you mean I think he's up at the Eastern Conference.
Oh,
Pete.
well, I was going to say no one's even talking about OKC. No one even cares.
I mean, I was going to say Orlando, but
No. The team to watch out for that's going to be a problem, it's Boston. They're going to get Tatum back, and they're already moving. They're moving up the standings, and they're going to get Tatum back. He's going to come back and play. People thought maybe they could tank this year because Tatum's out and they can get another player. No. They're playing to win, and they're going to get him back, and they're going to be the best team in the East. That's what's going to happen. That's how I see it. All right, we'll wrap up the show coming up next.
You're listening to The Sports Bash with Mike Gill on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
All right, we're getting ready to get out of here. We're live at Chickies and Pete's in Atlantic City.
By the way, Jimmy Butler, he has been ruled out for tonight's game.
Ooh. What about Embiid? Any update there? I know he's game time decision.
I've not seen one. Usually he comes out for shoot around. He kind of. Well, then we'll find out if he plays.
Yeah, he does his stupid stretching and shooting routine, and then he walks over and says, "How'd I do? Everything okay?"
And then the team gets fined $100,000.
Exactly.
If you missed my conversation with Sixers Adam Aronson, it's always tough for me to say because the guy who used to run the Sixers, remember him? Adam Aaron.
Adam Aaron, yeah.
Yeah. I had a fun conversation with Adam Aaron on the phone one night at 1 o'clock in the morning. He called me.
I'll tell you, I see Bob Myers.
Was he drunk?
No, just, like guys who are very successful in life, like it seems like they do all their work at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. Like that's when people are sleeping. They're doing stuff, and he calls me, and, we had this long conversation, and then he told me to hold on because Josh Harris was calling him on the other line, and then he came back. He's like, I'm going to need to call you back. And I'm thinking, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. What are you calling me back?
I tell you, Bob Myers, he's next to Josh Harris, courtside.
Yeah.
Seeing that a lot more.
Well, did Bob Myers make a trade for Giannis?
Did he or would he?
Would he?
Oh, probably.
Do you trust Bob Myers to make the trade? Or as, what's his name told us, that that Morey's making calls.
Oh, yeah, Morey's making that call. Yeah.
Bobby Marks. All right, that's our show. We'll do it again tomorrow on a Happy Hour Friday. Sports Bash live on 97.3 ESPN. Hopefully our phones work tomorrow. That would be nice. Have a great night, everybody.